All right, welcome back. It's time for the second semi-final, here at the Halo World Championship Tour Cologne. I'm Brycey, and to break this one down, we've got a slightly different analyst panel this time around. We have strong sides Sims and Lunny from Team XL. First of all, congratulations for making it to the grand final.
Thanks, yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys, we're going to get into this one now. This is a match that we've actually seen 2 weeks ago. Do we think that it's going to be a little bit similar?
I'll let you go with this one.
All right. Well, honestly, I thought Dignitas was going to be here. I think Infused is that next team that could possibly take down Epsilon. They've been right, I want to say right at the bubble just of Epsilon, right behind them, just always trying to take them down. I was actually talking to Chalky a little bit ago, and he was saying that he has not played against Epsilon in about a month since Epsilon has been traveling around. They haven't got any game time with them. So that's going to be an interesting matchup to see right now, because we know Epsilon has been playing against some of the NA teams. Their strategies have been evolving. So we're going to see how, I guess, if Epsilon can keep that up, and if Infused is going to be able to fight back against these new strategies.
I mean, it's kind of hard to say, really, when you look at Epsilon, you know they are, you know what they've done. They're currently unbeaten in Europe, and I'm sure...
I don't think they've dropped a map this tournament, from what I remember.
No, Millennium, I want to say, took them to the... Supremacy with the closest ones, took them to pretty much 2 close games.
Yeah, COLISEUM, Team Slayer, I think it was.
Yeah, 2 kills, I think it was, but at the end of the day, they're unbeaten in European events for a reason. I mean, I'm assuming, Lunny, Epsilon, if you were playing someone in a scrim, who would you prefer to... Who do you think you'd be able to beat more?
Infused, definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah, but I think Infused may be able to take this, maybe able to take Epsilon just because the confidence of Epsilon is they're gonna overlook Infused, and Perry's been having a really good event.
I got a question for you too. Do you think Epsilon has not been playing to their full potential here? Do you think they're kind of overlooking everyone here, and we're not seeing the top squad that we've seen before?
They're coasting, yeah. They have to step it up to beat Infused, and us, for that matter.
All right, well, we're going to find out that soon. But first, we are going to go down to Mitch on the floor. Mitch, please take it away.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I mean, I don't need to encourage Lunny to throw down the gauntlet, but we do, of course, have a bit of a grudge match here. It is going to be Infused and Epsilon on the desk. I have Buck20 and, of course, Ramirez back with us again. Now, history has said that you guys have gone head-to-head before. You think back to Gfinity, and I'll probably talk to you first about this one, Buck20, that you did drop a game to, of course, to Infused. I mean, it's not common to see you guys do in general. I mean, what was your takeaways from that tournament in general, especially that final?
I think our main takeaway from Gfinity was that our Slayer game needed to be improved on, so we kind of worked on that a bit. I think it's still our weakest game type out of all of them, but we're just quite lucky that there's more objective games in every series, so I think we can close out any series that we're playing.
Now, Ramirez, for you guys, I mean, Halo 5 has been a journey of adaptation. It's been about pulling your socks up and pulling your finger out and getting back in towards the top echelons. This weekend, I mean, you know, obviously, as you've adapted all the way through up until this point, what have you guys learned this weekend about yourselves, about the whole scene, about the other teams? Any insights there you can give us?
We've not learned too much from any other teams, to be honest. I mean, the only team that we sort of see as our real competition, apart from Dignitas prior to this event, are the lads we're playing against right now. I mean, don't get me wrong, we've been struggling, but a struggle for Infused is us placing second and third because our expectations are that high. I think it's important to remind ourselves that we have got that expectation set from previous titles.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, we're looking to win this one for sure. We said that about Gfinity, but we've made some vital improvements on certain game types that we were getting squashed on before, and that's good for this event for us.
Absolutely. Now, for you guys, you said improvements for you guys after Gfinity was work on your Slayer game a little bit, but on the upside, what do you think is your strongest game type? Where do you think is where you guys really shine as a team?
I think Strongholds as a whole we're really good at, whatever map is. We're just really good at rotating the map and kind of making sure we're working as a team. So we showed it in our games against Supremacy and also any other team this weekend. So I think if we come out strong on Strongholds, we can't be beaten.
All right, then. I mean, look, you guys, we've seen a bit of emotion. You guys are very positive towards each other a lot. A lot of, you know, backslapping, a lot of high fives always happening before the game, a lot of energy there as well. Who's going to get loud in this game? Because there's a lot on the line. Is there going to be any one person on your team that you know is going to start to talk up a bit?
On our team, it's probably going to be me or Chalky, I'd imagine, for that sort of role. I mean, this game, it's sort of a bit detrimental to get loud because there's so much going on. You've got to keep on top of so much stuff. But don't get me wrong, some teams make it roll out. We saw XL get loud, and it worked for them. don't wrong. I'll make some noise if we get, you know, a bit of slapping bodies and stuff like that. We'll let it happen,
All right.
yeah.
So there's not enough room to get the Doritos out and pour Mountain Dew? No?
Depends how it's going. If you're 3-0 up, we'll get the Doritos out.
All right, not good. I was getting a bit hungry anyway. All right, boys. Well, I mean, we're about to get into this one, but we've got a message for each other or each other's teams to start off, Buck 20.
We're just going to continue to prove that we're the best in Halo 5. You guys had it for Halo MTC and H2A and Halo Reach, but yeah, Halo 5's our game.
We'll see about that.
Well, that is the most polite trash talk I've ever heard. I actually was hoping we'd get a bit more, but these guys are too respectful to each other to really give us that, but that's okay, because I'm sure we've given you enough to go on before this game, and I'm sure the analyst test will continue to build on that.
Right, thank you for that. I kind of hope their gameplay's a little bit better than their trash talking. But let's kind of get into this next one then. So, first of all, Epsilon versus Dignitas. That's kind of like one of the main rivalries in the Halo scene. However, it does seem like there's actually a lot more animosity between Infused and Epsilon. Is that right to say?
I think without question, Rami will not want to be beaten by these guys. He's beaten several times by them, but kind of what he mentioned, making some crucial changes. Fair enough, they dropped Riots, and this man here will disagree that Riots was probably his gain, as opposed to their loss, so to speak. But, you know, they brought in Blackjack, they've sat down, they've looked at what fundamentally was wrong, because they were getting dumped on. There's no nice way of putting it, compared to what we know from this roster. But before we go a little bit further on that one,
yeah, let's jump into this team. Lonnie, I kind of want you to point out here, because obviously you're looking at these teams now, looking at them, who are we playing? Who do you think's on top form for Epsilon at the moment?
Jim, definitely. Drone is very consistent. If Jim goes off, this is theirs, basically.
Yeah, Jimbo's definitely the aggressor of the team. He's always kind of in your face, just not letting you really get out from your base. So let's take COLISEUM CT, for example. He's just constantly pushing you back in, and then when you talk about Snipe Drone, he's always got the sniper just kind of hanging back, trying to pick people off, and he's normally not contested a lot. Would you say like Bucks and Jimbo are always kind of protecting him?
Yeah, they protect him a lot, but I think that's their weakness. I mean, if you can shut down Drone, you can shut down Epsilon.
So that's probably going to be the key for Infused, if they can stop
I think
Drone
be
from getting the sniper.
One of the keys to victories then against Epsilon. I mean, if you can shut down Snipe Drone. But how easy is that to actually do? Because it does seem like the Bucks are a very effective shield, and they do seem to have almost a telepathic bond with just keeping that map under control.
I think it's all about playing the angles. I mean, the Bucks shot hasn't been the best this event. You can take down the Bucks, then Drone's free. You can
calling them out, putting them on the spot.
Putting them on blast. Wow. Well, we'll see if those words come back to haunt you. But guys, any more kind of victories, keys here for Epsilon? If Epsilon want to win this one against Infused, first of all, I think they're going to have to get into their top gear.
Without question, and this goes for both sides, there's two people across the board that need to shut down. First of all, Jimbo and Epsilon, cut him off, it's a win. Perry 2 Foxy is absolutely ignited right now. If he goes off like he has been, he is going to destroy Epsilon, and I do mean destroy them. Snipe Drone simply will not be able to set up.
All right, well, let's actually go over to Infused then. Let's start talking about this squad. Now, Infused have had a little bit this weekend where 2 Foxy was ill. It's so ill that he isn't even in the team photo, and we've pointed out several times here. However, we have found out that he is feeling better today, and by Lord, he is certainly playing better. Lunny, what have you kind of made of this, 2 Foxy today?
Well, I think 2 Foxy is the best player in Europe. So if 2 Foxy he's always going to be on it, but I think Chalky needs to turn up for them to win this.
Okay, one of those keys to victory. Then let's move straight into those keys to victory. Infused are looking to take down the top dogs. Let's kind of be realistic about their chances here. Epsilon have been unbeaten so far in Halo 5. They beat these guys, in the UK regionals. For Epsilon, it's pretty much all stacked in their favor. What do Infused do in this situation?
I'm going to have to agree with Lunny here. 2 Foxy has a lot on his shoulders here. If he's not playing to his top tier level, it's going to really, really hurt Infused. We've heard Chalky, we've heard Ramirez say they're still getting used to that close range fighting in Halo 5. They're used to more of that mid to long range battle. So they've said it time and time again that they're still getting better at that. So that's their weak point. And if I'm on Epsilon, I'm going to be trying to just stay in their face, keep it to a close range fight. And that's really where you're going to see Infused fall apart. But Infused, 2 Foxy, he's going to be the key to their victory, playing on his game and just doing what he does best, everything. He's like the lunchbox of the team.
All right, Lunny, now we've kind of talked about picking Epsilon apart. Let's pick Infused apart a little bit here. Are they a bit one-dimensional with 2Foxy? Is that a problem?
I think it's quite hard to shut down 2Foxy, but I guess it could be a problem if he's not on point. Yeah.
Okay, is that because obviously you're now looking to kind of at these teams sitting there going, well, one of you's now standing in the way of us being the champion. Do you think you could take down 2Foxy? Have you got a plan for him?
No.
no, just gonna play your own game and kind of hope it goes away.
If we play our game, if we're on point, we can win.
I think the only way to get around that guy is to simply put a bullet between his eyes, because at the end of the day, he just runs around, and we saw that earlier on. If you don't kill him, he's going to kill you.
Well, yeah, I mean, we saw him running riot earlier. All right, let's move on to the predictions. Sims, let's start with you. Give me a scoreline for this one. That's not beatboxing, scoreline.
I want to see a win. I want to see
that's
Epsilon.
a good start. That's a good start.
All right, mate, calm down. Just because you can't grow a beard, chill out, mate. I actually want to see them dethroned. We've seen things happen here, like Dignitas going out. We've seen a lot of stuff, and anything can happen. I'm going to say it's going to Game 7, and I'm going to say Infused are going to pip them.
Okay, so you're going 4-3 Infused.
I'm going for the Ghosty Army prediction.
Wow, okay, fair enough. Goes against it. Well, you'll probably get it right where he hasn't. Okay, strong side.
I'm going to have to go Epsilon here. I'm going to say they're going to take this in 4-2. You heard Buck. He said they're really good at strongholds. I think they're going to take game number 3, and they're going to take game number 6 to solidify the win. So I'm going with a 4-2 of favoring Epsilon.
Okay, well, Lunny, looks like you have the deciding vote then. What do you think?
Infused 4-2.
Oh, wow, okay. It looks like our analyst panel is currently picking Infused to win this. Do you agree? Or will Epsilon continue their unbeaten run so far in Halo 5? Please let us know on hashtag HaloWC. We'll keep those tweets read as they keep coming in, and thanks so much for tweeting in all weekend long. But now it is time to get this game underway. We're going to hand it over to our casters. It's GG, Ghosty Army and Gaskin.
Welcome back, guys. Here we are in the second semi-final. I'm joined in the booth. It's a pleasure to be with Ghosty Army himself. How does it feel to be back in the booth after sitting on that desk all
I'm definitely happy to be here. You know, being on that desk alongside Brycey was an absolute pleasure. But you know, I'm happy to get back in the casting booth and you know, bring some hype.
Yeah, brilliant. So we've got Infused versus Epsilon, 2 of the UK's best teams here, the UK Giants.
This is the match.
I mean, what do you think coming into this? As an outsider, you've seen these teams perform all weekend.
Yep.
Have you got a favourite here?
I mean, again, I think everyone knows here that I am very, very keen to the underdog. Now, we know Epsilon is doing amazing again this tournament. They're unbeaten, right? But they do have sickness this weekend, unfortunately, to 2 of them. So with that coming into play, I mean, there is a chance for Infused to take it, but we're really just going to have to wait and see.
Right, so we've got the series layout here. We've got COLISEUM CTF, Truth Team Slayer Game 2, PLAZA Strongholds Game 3, FATHOM CTF Game 4, Eden Slayer Game 5, and then the Rig Strongholds and PLAZA Team Slayer if we need them, same as the previous semi-final. Now, COLISEUM CTF to start things off. I mean, we're going to be looking towards the snipers on these squads. So we're going to be looking at Snipe Drone, seeing what he can do, what Chalk he can do.
Yep, and I think the biggest deal here is after watching both of these teams this weekend, right, we know that Epsilon has a certain strategy, right? They have Snipe Drone kind of holding that red base with the sniper lot. I know it's sometimes more in Slayer than CTF, but they have a very structured role for each player on Epsilon. Now, when it comes to Infused, when we watch them play, I feel like it's a little bit more brash, right? You have the Bucks, you have 2Foxy just charging. Chalky isn't that sniper anymore. He's grabbing rockets more often, and Blackjack is aggressive. Ramirez is crouching around the map, making sure that, you know, that each spot is controlled. So I'm looking forward to see what Infused does.
Right, well, we're getting this one going. Who do you want to jump on board with first? Who do you think's the kind of man to watch in this game?
I mean, I guess we're going to go with Sims' favorite here, and we're just going to go with his man, 2Foxy.
Well,
let's start it
off
off.
2Foxy can do. He's going to push towards the sniper, which is good to see. What I want to see from these teams is really dominate this snipe side control of the map.
Phenomenal. He's throwing 2 nades in here, jumping up over here on the sneaky ledge, just making sure that he controls this sniper, right? And he's going to crouch here, keep holding it with his SMG. Now he sees a grab by Snipe Drone. Great job jumping out. Does he kill him? He does. Huge crucial kill there, right? Snipe Drone, we just talked about him grabbing Sniper, keeping it out of his hands. 2Foxy stepping up to the plate.
Yeah, interesting that he didn't really go for that sniper. He said, right, Okay, the sniper's dropped to S1. I'm just going to leave it there. Unless, did you see a member of Epsilon grab the sniper?
No, I mean, there was no one there. I can't believe that 2Foxy not only kept, going past that sniper, but then he jumped over to Blue Bridge, completely, really out of the ordinary for him. So I'm kind of concerned with that. But with that being said, it looks like we have Blackjack over here. He has the rockets. We're going to see what he does.
Yeah, rockets are really important on this map, and you don't want to waste them. It seems like some players kind of fire them a little bit willy-nilly.
Wow.
I like to see the patience, but that is 4 down for Epsilon now, and we now see this flag moving.
Yeah, and look at what he's doing, right? He's going to take this flag over to the BR, but gets cleaned up really quickly by that AR, it looks like, by Buck. So now we're going to hop on board with Snipe Drone. Snipe Drone has been doing some work right here. He's just trying to play some defense while his flag is away. Kills the scatter shot. Very big kill there, but unfortunately does die.
Yeah, and Snipe Drone, I think we've got some stats for him. 2.13 KDA this weekend. I mean, he's doing some work for his team. Like, almost 50% accuracy as well. You can't really complain about
no, I mean, Snipe Drone's not only doing well with the sniper, right, but he's doing well with every gun. I mean, if you have 49% accuracy and that type of KDA, clearly the guy's doing work all weekend. As he pushes out here in front of Blue Bridge, making sure that he patrols and controls. Here he drops down bottom blue base. He knows that there's a guy under here. Heard a call out, but unfortunately gets cleaned up by Ramirez. And now Ramirez looks like he's going to push for this flag.
Yep, and Blackjack on board with him now. He's kind of just sitting on this rocket area. He's just putting some shots into these Epsilon boys, but his flag is out. He's going to try and just... Maybe, what do you think is the best thing to do here? Do you go for the return instantly?
No, definitely not instantly. I mean, right now it's bottom middle, and we just talked about how that's what Fab B's strength was throwing it bottom middle and then cleaning up the kills for everyone that pushed for it. So now you see Blackjack playing it smart, not dying, keeping control of his bridge with the DMR. Now, I know at home people are thinking, what is he doing? He's camping, he's holding back. But by staying there and by holding that angle, there's no one that's going to be able to put a force on that flag. There you see him return it. Extremely smart play out of Blackjack.
And Epsilon still have this kind of snipe control of this map. I'd like to see Infused try and get this control back. We've got rockets in the hand of 2Foxy.
Wow.
He's doing some work. I'd like to see him use these rockets now to push towards this snipe area as he is doing, try and gain some control for his team.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And right now, he knows there's a guy right below him. If he gets assassinated right here, you better watch out. No, actually, the guy just got cleaned up by his teammate. Fortunate for him. And now we see him waste his last rocket, doesn't get hit by the ground pound, cleans up Buck 20. Really gave... Oh, look at that. Some shooting on the bodies. All right.
He swaps out the rocket for the sniper. If you want to put your rockets down, then why not do it for a sniper
and
rifle?
I have not seen 2Foxy snipe yet. Maybe we'll get to see it again soon, but that wasn't anything special. So now let's head over to Snipe Drone, trying to make a play. Unfortunately, did not. And now we're going to see if Buck 20 can get this return. He does. Oh, excuse me. Yep, great return, and Jimbo cleans up that kill.
See, I don't think we're going to see I don't think either team are going to make 3 flag caps in this game. I think it's going to be very tight. We're going to see maybe a 1-0 or a 2-1 or something like that. These teams are so closely contested, and there's so much pride on the line for these boys that I can't see either one of them throwing it away.
Oh, not at all. And it looks like we just saw a big push from Infused, but they just got too desperate for that flag. Jimbo made a clutch play right there, but now we see Snipe Drone and his teammate Buck 20 trying to gain control of the red base on the map. Unfortunately, dies right there. And so now we're going to jump on board. Let's go on with Jimbo.
Yeah, let's see what Jimbo can do here.
Ready for these rockets.
We know what a fan favorite he is. Obviously, if he can pick up these rockets, make a big play, he just needs to make sure he stays alive because he's going to get challenged a little bit. Blacks on the AR, and he does get taken down there.
Yeah, that was a little bit questionable, right? I mean, I know he wanted that kill really bad. Unfortunately, didn't know that there was a guy top bridge. So now we're going to hop on board, with Blackjack. He picked up those rockets after Jimbo's whiff, I guess, if you will. And now he's getting naded, falls back under blue base. Unfortunately, gets cleaned up by Snipe Drone. Let's hop on board with him. He just killed the rocket guy, and it looks like the rest of his team is searching, trying to find him, but Chalky picks him up, doesn't do anything with him. And now it looks like, we're really just trying to figure out who's going to keep this control. These teams are so evenly matched right now. I mean, we're 5 minutes in almost, and there has been no sort of momentum gained on either end.
I think what we're going to see is individual players trying to do something. I don't think either of these teams are scared to go for the win. They know they're capable of winning if they play their game. So you're going to see the likes of Blackjack trying to make a play. You're going to see Snipe Drone trying to make the plays. These boys have got what it takes to go to the final.
And Snipe Drone moving in right now because he knows Buck 57 is in this rocket corner. He's been holding it down for the last 10 seconds, trying to stay alive as now they start spawning on the sniper side of the map. And now it looks like we have a big flag run coming out of Buck 20. I mean, look at this. He's pushing down low. This is the exact route you want to take it, considering, what they had with the setup. And now we see Jimbo in the bottom left corner of our screen. Hits a perfect kill on Ramirez. Does Buck 20 finish finish it off? He does. Great flag cap right there for the first one of the game. Huge momentum.
And they have been waiting for that one for a while. They've held that snipe side of the map for pretty much the whole game, waiting for their moment. That's when they pounced, pulled the flag, and just a perfect run there.
And now we're going to see Infused do a little bit of a reset. They pushed onto their enemy's base, trying to get a return. Unfortunately, could not. Ramirez making a little bit of a smarter play, waiting for those rockets and to use them wisely. And there he is, getting that great cleanup on Jimbo as he pushes the snipe side of the map. Really the area you want to control here, right? But with rockets coming up, Ramirez is definitely mindful of it. And it looks like the rest of his team might be setting up. Let's hop on board with Chalky as he pushes up to the top rockets here.
I like how Infused are playing. They don't care who gets the power weapon. They know it's whoever's holding it, they're going to be able to get kills because all of these players are so strong. I mean, even Ramirez, technically the weakest player on the team, they're happy for him to have the sniper, happy for him to have the rockets.
Yep, and I know a lot of players jump up here with the rockets. I know they see it as a crucial area to control, and it did work out for them there, but you did see Chalky jump up first. There was a player right there in his face, and I can't tell you how many times I'm sure we've seen players suicide, and that's 3 down for Epsilon as we see. It looks like we got Blackjack moving in over here, and a few of his teammates just went down, so he's on defense. But yeah, we're going to see Jimbo now pushing on top of this activation bridge, or excuse me, top mid, and see what he can do with it.
Yeah, Epsilon are going to get aggressive now after they took down a few members of Team Infused.
Wow,
I love
great play by Jimbo right there. I'm going to call that one out. He saw 2 guys underneath him on radar, and instead of even concerning himself with them, he pushed forwards and then killed 2 other guys, or excuse me, almost got another one. And now it looks like we're going to have Buck 57 trying to help out his teammate Snipe Drone, who's running the flag right now. He's trying to do his best. He gets killed as Buck 57 keeps pushing across the map with his teammate. Look at that teamwork, guys. 2 guys going down. Jimbo and Buck 57 moving as a force. You even have Buck 20 coming up underneath. It looks like with the scatter shot, he's holding it down, trying to stay alive. Gets a little distraction right here, and they are constantly spawning in this rocket corner, right? Infused. Chalky is going to try and make a play, but it looks like we had Ramirez grab the flag there for a second, but he gets cleaned up, and now it's really all up to Chalky.
And with these players, I saw Snipe Drone pull the flag, and then he said no. We're not ready to pull this flag. He dropped it and he ran. That really shows experience, because sometimes you just see people throw it out or just keep running with it. You need to know when you're going to run the flag. Both these teams are capable of doing that, and that's what's good to see.
Without a doubt. And it looks like we're going to have Ramirez down here, bottom middle with the DMR. He's pushing in. We did see the scatter shot get dropped a little bit ago by Buck 20. He died with it. It could be on respawn. Maybe he's waiting for that. And it looks like he's about to get ground pounded by none other. I believe that was that Black? No, that wasn't Blackjack. All right, so we're going to have Blackjack actually pushing in here. And he's going to be watching this blue cave. All right, and snipe down. Damn, great shots by him. He had the DMR, though, folks. I know you're probably thinking, oh, you know, how are you going to talk crap on that? Well, I'm not. My bad. It was a DMR. He did have the extra red reticle range, and that's how he got that reversal there against that Magnum.
I mean, what we're seeing here is 2 displays of real patience. Both teams are setting up before they push into a flag. Perfect kill there from Snipe
Another
Drone.
DMR kill right there,
But,
right?
I mean, on the other side, Foxy also got a perfect, Magnum kill as well. These players, their shots, they're so well practiced. This is the best the UK has to offer, and only one of these teams can make the final.
All right, and watch this. They're trying to train it in here. Infused, trying to get that second cap of the game right now, but they're first.
Oh.
Unfortunately, Blackjack tried to force it right there, and now it looks like we're going to see if, Epsilon is going to try. They returned it.
Wow.
And now they're going to run it. I mean, this is absolutely insane. We saw all 4 dead, but Ramirez is in a position right now to make a play. Look at this guy, the team captain we all know and love. 2 Foxy just got 2 kills. I know Sims is happy somewhere, and we have Ramirez making a great play, throwing it bottom middle. Again, a very familiar tactic right now with these European teams, and really of Classic Halo in general.
This is what I love about Ramirez. A couple of his teammates were dead. He said, right, I'm just going to sprint towards that flag. I'm going to throw it out and make sure they can't
This is a hard angle, too. Look at this. Ramirez just taking his time to get that kill, and now staying alive, doing the best he can to just be annoying. I mean, and Ramirez is getting kills, Foxy is getting kills, and now we see a little bit of, I'm sure, some worry on the faces over here of Epsilon. Let's see as Buck 57 pushes out and starts getting ready for these rockets. This is a very crucial point here in the game.
I was really impressed with Ramirez's movement movement and his mechanical skills as quite a slow player during H2A. It's good to see him. He's really on the ball. You can see his eyes. They're looking all over the screen. He's very twitchy. It's good to see that he's kind of developed into this new breed of player.
Ooh, and then we get that fresh sniper right there, getting that first headshot in the cave. And look, he's waiting for these spawns, folks. Now, a little bit of a tip. They're not going to spawn there if he's looking right at it. Now, they could be spawning behind that wall and stuff, but if he's staring there, there's a very low chance that he's going to see him. And there's another sniper right there. But with the time running down, right, folks, we have 1:30 in regulation left. So if no caps are decided before then, it will go into overtime with 3 minutes. So we have a very close game here, and it's coming to the wire.
And while we were watching Ramirez earlier, clearly a cap happened because I didn't see that cap even get put in. I think Infused must have ran that one bottom rockets and just taken it away from Epsilon. And Infused are looking stronger coming into the end of this game now.
Yes, and watch Blackjack right now. He needs to come back with his teammates. I mean, oh my goodness, amazing shot right there. Does he hit it? No, almost bounced it off the ground right there. He did not. However, the rest of his team is really trying to do some recovery work right now, and it looks like he's just going to keep on hitting those shots. But unfortunately, he just saw on his radar, a teammate just came for his flag guy, and we're going to watch to see if 2Foxy can stay alive. He doesn't, and it looks like his teammate now, Chalky, is going to come up and try and get the slays. Great play by him.
Put it in.
Very patient.
2-1 to Infused. There, Chalky getting the double with only 35 seconds left. Epsilon really have to do something big.
We have to talk about how serious of a cap that was right there. I mean, we saw members of Epsilon just flinging themselves at their base because they knew that it's such a crucial moment. They can't let that cap go in, and it does. And now with the time going down, excuse me, we're going to go on to Jimbo, who's trying to make a play, right? We have 16 seconds, and he can't just pull it and go, and he dies right away. So it looks like Buck 57 is going to try and make a move, but with the time running out, this game is already over, folks. And you can tell as Ramirez is just hanging out, chilling. Look at that face, that intensity. This guy is ready. They're all high-fiving. Man, what a victory. I mean, that came out of nowhere.
Game 1 to Infused. If you had said that earlier, I think a load of people would have been saying, no way, Epsilon are just going to run a train through these guys. This is their tournament. This is the tournament Infused that we talk about.
Foxy, yeah.
They are on absolute fire. We saw Blackjack going absolutely off with that sniper as well. And he really stepped up.
And starting off the series with that Game 1 win, huge deal.
Yeah, and let's have a look, see if we can look at the stats now. I don't know who... I want to see what Blackjack did, because, I mean, this guy... Wow, 22 kills. I mean, and look at the assists as well.
But look at Chalky. I mean, we had it on him a few times, but the guy dropped 33 kills. I don't think there's anyone else in the... Yeah, there isn't. Unfortunately for Buck 57, rough game, man. 12 and 28. I mean, you hate to see it out of him, but I do know that the Buck twins in general, they pick up the extra slack, right? They do the dirty work. Maybe he was just having a rough game trying to fix someone else's mistakes, or maybe he just had a costly game in general. That's unfortunate to see.
We've seen it quite a lot in this tournament, actually. 57 dropping a few, well, not neg bombs necessarily, dropping maybe a neg 6, neg 5, but like you said, he is more from maybe the objective, focused player in the team.
Oh, for sure.
But it's good to see that this kind of Infused side can match an Epsilon squad that everyone thought was the
look at these faces right now, right? Look at Epsilon. They're not even looking up at the camera because they know there's nothing to smile about. Keep looking down, boys. You guys got to focus. And hopefully that coach starts talking about some strats because they need it.
And do you think illness plays a part here? We know that a couple of the Epsilon players aren't feeling very well, but we also know that even 2Foxy wasn't feeling too great the other day. I mean, is that kind of 2v1 in illness? Is that an advantage for Infused?
I mean, so when it comes to illness, I have a little bit of a bias. I watched Ogre 2 in Chicago 2005 win the tournament and win the 1v1s. With a flu, all right? Okay. I mean, the guy went through extreme sickness. I'm not going to compare him to Michael Jordan or anything, but the guy did it, right? And so I don't know what these guys have. They have illness. It's definitely going to be a bit of a, worry for them, and it's going to be a bit of a crutch, but it is possible, right? I mean, if the GOAT can do it, then surely...
If the GOAT can do it,
surely Epsilon can do it, right?
Game 2, TS on Truth. Now, we saw Infused absolutely dominate teams on CTF Truth. Obviously, Team Slayer, a little bit different. Who's your favorite going into this one? Do you think Infused can carry the momentum here?
I think that it's a momentum thing here, right? We saw Infused just barreling down, and you're talking about COLISEUM. I mean, the map is almost as large as the pit, right? And it's supposed to be a little bit more structured. So now you transfer onto a small arena map like Truth, you know, kind of the spiritual successor to Midship, if you will. And you can't help but think the powerhouse of Infused is coming, right? I mean, we saw a Buck 57 had a rough game in that last one, and who knows, that could translate into this one. So we're just gonna have to wait and see.
I mean, out of both of these teams, I'm fairly certain that Infused holds more players who did play Halo 2. I mean, is that a factor in something like Truth, which is a Midship region?
It is. It definitely is. I mean, when you're talking about angles, playing Halo 2 and Halo 3, and you're talking about playing the same map, right? You go through all of those, you know, times, and you go through all the different situations, the scenarios. So as a player, you learn, right? You learn everything about that map. And now, yeah, there is a little bit difference, but when it comes to, when to lift up, right? When to clamber, when to go car 3, when to go pink side. Yes, the map is different and it's structured differently, but you still should have a general idea of, maybe I should be shooting a BR out of my front window, right? So there's all these different previous strategies that we've had over the years that can be enforced in this new one, obviously coupled with some new strategies as well.
And you said that these Epsilon boys, they need to look to their captain. And sometimes I wonder, who is the captain in this side? There's no real dominant leader.
No, not at all.
Which is a contrast to Infused, who have players like Too Foxy, like Ramirez, like Chalky, all happy to make the calls.
And when you're talking about it, I mean, right, when we talk about Ramirez, we talk about Riots, these are guys that can control their team when these late game situations matter. And currently, it's looking rough for Epsilon. So if maybe Jimbo, maybe Snipe Down will step up. I know the Bucks are a little bit soft-spoken, but let's hop on board with Too Foxy as he goes right down for this combo. I mean, no, he doesn't. I hate to see it. I thought he was going to grab it, and he goes, okay, for the kill. Might grab this sword. No, and he backs up. All right. I mean, right there, folks, I got to say, I got to call him out. I would have gone for the combo right there, that plasma pistol. It's extremely potent on this map, especially when you're talking about a map that only has really 2 other power weapons, right? The plasma caster and the energy sword. So when you're talking about those things, I got to tell you, the plasma pistol is the truth.
Hey, I see what you did there. I know that Foxy was definitely going for that sword. We saw him in the quarterfinals push that sword, grab it on the flag game type, and he was doing some absolute work with it. I think someone said he was like the best sword player in Europe. I don't even know if that's a thing, but if it is a thing, then yeah, maybe he is the best sword player in Europe.
All right, well, we're hopping on board now with Chalky. He just got a quick little double kill, and you can check out these stats now here. Check out this KDA, I mean, whopping 2.18, right? His damage total over the weekend has accumulated all the way up to 17,000 plus, and his accuracy actually above 50%. A really great stat to notice. And we're gonna hop on board now with Snipe Drone. He is patrolling this blue bubble, the rampart, if you will, and he's gonna keep pushing in and see if he can get any shots on the blue base. As it looks like the rest of his team is collapsing, right? They are pinching these guys, the Infused team in that base. But watch, there he is, checking his 6. He knows that they could potentially spawn out in that bubble. That's what you saw him look for right there.
And we saw Chalky P3 there. Now, I had a conversation with some of the Infused guys earlier. They said when they're sat P3, they don't feel like it's the same as it was in Halo 2.
Oh, certainly not.
There's just not that kind of, you can't push over as quickly because you've got the barrier separating the two sides.
But what I will say, though, misses the combo. That's unfortunate. And we're going to hop on board here with Chalky. But what I will say, though, is Pink 3, it's very far away from numerous lines of sights on the map, right? So when someone doesn't have a BR upgrade, when someone doesn't have the carbine upgrade, you are hard to shoot. So I always like to say, grab that carbine off the front of Pink Tower and take it Pink 3 and just start wrecking shop. Now, you got to have your teammates to kind of help you out as well. But yeah, let's continue here with Chalky as he's pushing in this red base. They're at a little bit of a deficit right now with the 7 kills. Jimbo coming up, and it looks like Snipe Drone does a great job taking him down.
Interesting that Chalky decided to leave the carbine side there to push into the base. I personally feel that Team Slayer carbine control is a lot more important than P side. I don't know how you feel, but
1000%.
Getting into that bubble and shooting across at the spawns, I think that's how you're going to win one of these games.
Oh yeah, I mean, so when it comes to capture the flag, I have to say that, yes, the bubble is a very big point. And the pink side, yes, and Team Slayer, we know that it is crucial in a sense, right? Because the camo is there, and that is a deciding factor when it comes to this game type. But at the same time, the spawn control, right? The lines of sight you have, the cover that you have on that carbine side, it's absolutely immaculate in comparison to old. So I have to say that, yeah, you do want to control that immensely.
And this game is slowed down already, just at 20 kills for one of the teams.
Great teamwork.
Does seem like everyone's been a little bit more patient. Huge double there from Snipe Drone, though.
Oh, yeah, and look at this, just putting shots in all the way across the map. Haven't really seen those angles since H2, H3 days, you know, so that's a nice job by Snipe Drone. I know he's been playing for a while now. He's going to jump on pink 3, another classic little form right here. And look at that, jumping up, no fear, but gets flanked from behind. And that's Ramirez. Team captain says, no, get the hell off of my pink 3.
See, I just think you're so vulnerable if you jump up to P3 now. I much prefer a team pushing towards the Carbine side. I feel like both teams are focusing too much on P side right now.
And I gotta say, the Carbine side, it has the sword. It has the plasma pistol and has amazing access and spawn control right to top middle. So when it comes down to it, I'm surprised to see all these teams fighting over for these bases right now. It is a little bit concerning.
Well, we've got Ramirez now jumping into the base, getting the smack, but he is taken down. We now hop across to Chalky, who's just going to sit in this bubble that we've talked about.
Oh, yeah.
He's just going to look in and support his
And
teammates.
look at this, they brought the game back, right? He's been holding this spot for a while now, and now it's tied, 23-23. They broke that 7-kill deficit, and here we go, taking the lead now, 24-23.
And that was all about slowing it down for Infused. They said, okay, look, guys, we're 7 kills down. Let's take a look at what's going wrong here. Let's wait for the right push. We now see the camo in the hands of Blackjack.
Oh, yeah,
Can
let's
he
hop on
pull
board
off
with
anything
him.
sick with this?
Wow, spotted. It looks like he was spotted by, I can't even tell right now, but he's going to be moving in with the Storm Rifle. Obviously, one of the best plays you can make with it. We all know that camo lets you get in that close range with the lack of your appearance on radar. And you want to use splinter grenades, you want to use plasma grenades, but unfortunately dies there. I believe that was to Jimbo. No, excuse me, I guess that was not. I'm not sure who that was. But anyways, we're going to hop on board with Jimbo as he pushes over here to the car side of the map.
And that aggressive push, I mean, there's a 3-kill lead now for Infused. Just because Blackjack pushed him with the camo, Epsilon were very wary and they kind of turtled back into their base and they waited for the camo to get there.
Oh, yeah. Now watch, Jimbo taking shots from there is actually a pretty big deal. Now, because of this, he's forced in this corner and he knows he's trapped from car side as well. So now you see 2 of his teammates kind of turtling up. Him and Snipe Down, they're constantly worried about their 6. And Blackjack is just making plays right now. I mean, the dude is getting kill after kill. Look at this, pushing pink 2 with the Storm Rifle. And now going for his pink 3 because he knows that he needs to get the kill. Great switch to the battle rifle. Really, really great play.
Yeah, Blackjack just kind of running around, just shooting everything that gets in his line of sights at the moment. This guy wants this so much. He uses the Storm Rifle to full effect there on Jimbo. I mean, he's just performing perfectly. There's a 7-kill lead now for him.
I was just going to say, now the 7-kill lead is in favor of Infused. Blackjack just making plays right now. I mean, the kid looks like he really has a firm grasp on Halo 5. And now we're going to watch the team captain Ramirez pushing up to pink 2. A little bit of a weak slide. It looked like he was trying to sense out if there was anyone pink 3. And I guess that's not the case, as it looks like Chalky gets taken down top middle. So now Ramirez is a little bit concerned. He knows that there's a guy flanking him, has the sword, but did not zoom in. Wasn't there, just wasn't there for it. So now
taken down with a
we're going to
sword,
hop on board. Let's go with Buck 20. He's the guy that just picked up that sword, and he has a battle rifle, but only a few shots in it. One of my pet peeves, I would say, is picking up that BR and only having a few shots in it. Look at that, can't even finish the camo guy, but fortunately his teammate Jimbo does. He goes down. Now Jimbo trying to make a play on Chalky. He gets the reversal, but Ramirez is getting these kills all the way from across the map with the carbine, might I add. And now we're going to hop on board with Blackjack because we just saw some crazy plays over on car side, and we know Blackjack sniffing him out. He's going to be pushing over, and we'll see what he does.
I mean, interesting with Buck 20, I did say earlier that I don't really think they've got a real leader. Buck 20 is probably the guy to look to. And at a 5-kill deficit, what can Buck 20 do here? He really needs to get his team together. They need to stop pushing as individuals.
Yep, and 2 Foxy got a great spawn up there. He got a spawn at Blue Bubble. Look at this flank he hit. He already got one guy top middle, puts in more shots, but oh my God, stays alive while he's getting fired upon. I mean, the guy is just doing it all. Sims, you are right with this one.
And look at that timing from their coach.
Wow.
2 Foxy was there waiting. The so-called best EU player with the sword, dropping some bullets to the body of Epsilon players.
And this is getting close here. I mean, it's about to be a commanding 2-0 lead for Infused, something that I don't think Epsilon has seen here recently.
Epsilon definitely weren't expecting this, but Infused boys know that this is their tournament. They said, we're confident. Epsilon aren't looking that great. We can take this one.
10-kill lead now for 2 Foxy and squad as he patrols and controls the carbine side of the map. Unfortunately, loses his team captain Ramirez on the pink side, as it looks like Blackjack is trying to make some plays with him. And now it looks like 2Foxy all by himself as the rest of his team is spawning red base. And it looks like he got spotted out. Maybe just a spawn nade. No, Buck 20 knows he's there, but Buck 20's staying too committed to that battle right there. And 2Foxy does happen to stay alive.
I'd really like to see Infused group up now, push in and get these last few kills, which is exactly what Foxy's doing, using that sword to full effect. They're only 2 kills away now from going 2-0 up in the series. Foxy is just hunting everything that turns up on his radar.
Man,
only 1 kill away, and there we have it. 2-0 to Infused. Tell me, did anyone see that coming? This is nuts.
Oh, man, the momentum is real right now, folks. You saw him just charge because we can't lose sort of mentality. And Jimbo, I'm sorry, man, but that ground pound is not going to work, man. You're not going to be pulling out these flashy plays here when you got a deficit like that. And look at the Epsilon crew right now. The Bucks' hands in the air.
You shake their heads there as well.
Yeah,
I don't even think they know quite what's happening at the moment. But look at this.
Oh, my
Ramirez
God.
getting the most kills for his team.
Very rare sight to see, but I want to point out Chalky, my main man Chalky. This guy is supposed to be the slaying prowess on the team, and here he is with 14 assists. I mean, most assists in the game. We saw Buck 57 down there. Unfortunately, had another rough game, 5 and 16, as we predicted, but the guy at least came through with his 12 assists. Nevertheless, Chalky topping him with 2 more. You really can't say enough about that guy.
I kind of feel like Ramirez and Chalky are playing on each other's accounts there. As a complete flip in stats, but we saw it earlier from Chalky as well. He was dropping some insane assists. For someone who is such a talented Slayer, it's really good to see that he has that dynamic, that he can kind of do something else with his game.
Yeah, and I think the really big part here is that we saw a 7-kill lead by Epsilon. Yeah. And they not only lost it, but it didn't end close. It was 50-39. Now, when you get in the 40s, maybe we can talk about having a close game. Sure, but I mean, anything under 40, it's a little bit of a commanding win, especially when we saw it in that fashion. I mean, they closed that thing out.
I think the biggest thing between these two teams is whoever goes on to win has got an easier matchup. I don't want to say easier, but I believe it is an easier matchup in the final. So that really, this could be that we could be looking at the winner of the tournament here. And 2-0 to Infused. We see the first game was 2-1, 50-39 in Truth Team Slayer.
Oh yeah,
PLAZA Strongholds game 3.
But I want to bring up a big point here. Now, you just said it's going to be an easier game when we get to the finals, right, Infused? Well, it is a little bit of a different story, right? Let's talk about how Epsilon is the undefeated team here, and we know how good they are, and Infused has yet to beat them. But Infused, guess what? They dropped Riots, right? Now Riots has Excels waiting on the other half of that grand final. So when it gets down to it, it's going to be serious. It's going to be cutthroat. It's literally Riots trying to prove his worth back to his old team. And I'm excited to see that one.
And here we have the players to watch. Blackjack, we saw him go off with a sniper in game 1. Buck 20, not really showing up in this series yet, but I said he's probably the kind of captain of this team.
Oh, for
he's
sure.
the player they're going to focus on if they need advice for anything. So I just want to see both of these players really kind of take control in a Strongholds game type and organize their team.
Yeah, Strongholds PLAZA is definitely going to be a particular one to watch. We're loading into it right now. But yeah, I got to say, it looks like Infused is really feeling it, right? They turned it around on the Capture the Flag game. They turned it around on the Team Slayer game. And here we are going to the Strongholds. I have to think that maybe Epsilon will come out with a great starting strat, like always, but I don't know, man. Infused is just looking great.
What I like to see on PLAZA Strongholds is real control of that camo.
Yep.
I see a lot of players not ignore it, but kind of waste it. They pick up the camo and they just run at the other team. When you can just sit behind that van, just with camo and just stay alive.
Just hang out and act like, oh, I'm not here, and then next thing you know, they can't cap it, or you're capping it, whatever works for you. But yeah, there are a lot more advantages with camo than just shooting, right? Than just getting the jump on a player. We can't stress it enough how crucial it is, especially in PLAZA Strongholds, in the Rig Strongholds. There's many a times where the game is getting down to the wire, right? 99-99, and next thing you know, a guy is trying to cap. And there's a camo guy sitting in there, and you have no idea, and he's contesting it, and next thing you know, you don't get that cap, you lose the game. So yeah, the camo is a huge difference maker.
We see the fist bumps coming out now from Epsilon, but we see the hand slaps from Infused, and this is an interesting situation for us. Epsilon hadn't dropped a game coming into this tournament. We now see them 2-0 down as we go into Strongholds Plaza. Who do you want to start off with?
I'm going to say that we should definitely start out with our player to watch for this series. Really, it feels like Blackjack. I mean, the guy is absolutely dominating. He did it in the first game, and then he continued to have great positioning in the second one, and I've been extremely impressed by this young buck.
And great use of mechanics there. I love that little jump up.
It's a hard one.
Most of the pro players, they should be like able to do that now, but it's good to see the EU players.
I can't tell you how many times we sit back at the office and watch countless pro players mess it up. So, you know, shout out to all the guys that can make it on the rig.
Yeah, and I was glad he picked up the BR as well.
Wow.
I know that you've got your automatics now, but it's good to see people can throw back and get the BR.
Look at this, right? We have another triple cap, and they got a good start, and Buck 20 has the rail. And it looks like now that we're going to see Infused take the yard as expected, right? But we just saw an overextension right there by Buck 57. A very questionable play out of him, really for the majority of the series. So let's see if, Snipe Drone just made some great BR shots there and got a double. But it looks like Buck 20 was a little bit out of position.
Yeah, and we did see Infused drop an Eden Strongholds game in the quarterfinals.
I'm sorry to steal that from you.
Starkiller. I mean, going for the ground power gets completely shut down. Buck 20, he's kind of stepping up this game.
Yeah, that was a big deal. And we just talked about how he's the player to watch right on Epsilon. We know that Jimbo and Snipe Drone do make a big difference, but it is Buck 20 that is the glue of the team. And Buck 57 just is not doing his best right now. So we're going to see if the 20 can come out to play.
Yeah, the 20 does need to come out and play. I'm not sure if it's 20 or 57. One of them is very unwell, so the other Buck needs to step up. We see them holding the two main stronghold points, the ones you want to control, but bottom mid is about to go to Infused. Let's see whether they can take that yard and kind of set up.
Wow, look at this play. Great shots over there by Foxy, but unfortunately gets cleaned up. It looked like Blackjack was going to help out, but maybe didn't get enough shots in now as he's down here waiting on hotels. Jimbo knows, Buck 20 knows he's getting pinched. Great pinch by them, and we're going to watch as Snipe Drone just keeps an eye on this dip. Great kill by him. Unfortunately gets cleaned up from behind by 2 Foxy, but it looks like we now have Epsilon recapping this bottom mid area, getting that stronghold, as now 2 Foxy tries to make a little bit of a questionable play, and now here you have Jimbo grabbing that camo at the 9:47 mark.
Yeah, grabbing the camo, obviously so important. He's putting a few shots and he almost gets taken down, but thankfully he does stay alive. I really think he does need to get into a position now where he can help his team with this camo and not just have an unnecessary death.
And that was an odd fight right there. It looked like Snipe Drone was just getting caught on his teammate trying to hit a railgun. And fortunately for Jimbo, he cleaned up the other player. But yeah, it's definitely a curious game right now. I mean, it looks like we do have a good lead right now for Epsilon, but as we all know, Strongholds, it doesn't mean anything at the end of the day if the other team just gets that full control and makes that comeback.
Yeah, I want to see Infused make a patient push. They need to choose a moment, decide when they want to go, and then they need to go as a unit. I don't want to see them pushing out as individuals. We see a couple of players pushing round to the camo side of the map now. If they can kind of get Nest first and then push for the bottom mid, I definitely think that's the better approach.
And look at that sniff out by Jimbo, right? He knew that one player was pushing down from Cafe. He saw him going towards Hotel, and he thought, you know what? This is probably a guy waiting to lift up on me. So instead of just, you know, being clueless about it, the guy threw a Splinter first, followed it up with the Storm Rifle push. Great play by Jimbo.
Yeah, and I think later on we can maybe go for a listen-in for Infused and see how they're going to respond to this.
Oh, yeah.
But I think these Infused players, they're definitely capable of making a comeback here. That's what I love about Strongholds, that even if you do have like a 40 or a 50 lead, you can still come back into it. So let's jump on in with a listen-in now from Fused and see what they have to say.
All right.
Let's go, me with shotgun. Yes, let's go then. Fuck it.
Watch out. Nice.
Blue Swans, it's going to be blue.
Yeah, I'm
already there, Dick.
Let me block it. I got shot.
Just get Nest. We're in Nest. I'm going to hold
Two blue.
One's already dead.
My elbow.
One top middle right now.
I died. Bottom mid got me, so I quit.
Oh, you raped me. It's one shot from blue now.
Still alive. Let him have bottom mid. Cap nest. Two bottom mid. There's one elbow.
4, camo.
We got 2 cappies.
Please try and get this.
Bottom mid, weak.
2 bottom middle. One's one shot.
Top mid, nest now, Jimbo. Nest, Jimbo.
I'm going to try and get over to Nest.
Dropping bottom mid just for slays.
Coming Nest as well, bitch.
He's got camo. I'm trying to get it now.
One shot, garbage shot. There's 2 there. They're probably going to cap this.
Right, reset that. Someone camo.
2 more garbage shot, guys. Porridge here.
He's got a faggot.
Lost 2 in Nest.
Got a Nest 9.
Get bottom mid.
Camo in there as well.
Then we'll get bottom.
Nice days.
Somebody should spiral.
Camo's in there.
Oh, yeah, camo's in there, bitch.
Coming, Andy.
There's a guy from blue. We need to stay alive. Come on.
They're dropping down track.
Dip. Jimbo's one shot. Dead. Another guy garbage shoot, guys. Two bottom middle on shops. Go nest.
No, pillar.
One shot on me.
Only one nest on Jake.
You bottom mid, pillar.
dead.
Where's
Two
Jake?
behind you, Jake. Soda.
Hit nest, go. I've got blue window, watch it out, go.
Speak on me. One shot on me now. 2 there though. Another one. One shot.
One shot, fuck off. One shot step.
I'm making a push
Go 3 yards to spiral. You spoke about a break.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm spawned there.
One's in yard
Yeah,
now.
stay
On
like
me.
Perry, I'll come off squad.
I'm gonna go help him.
One shot and trap.
Oh, man, he's in yard, boys.
My back's what side? It's got to be out. I can't do anything, man. It's got to be yard. One shot there. One shot on yard still. Alright.
Yard.
Yeah, it's one shot on the right side of yard. We can still win this game. It's that sort of game type once we get going.
And as we can hear, Ramirez really calling the shots for his team, but unfortunately, they just can't seem to get back into it right now.
No, I mean, Ramirez is doing his best right there. He gets cleaned up. It just looks like everything that Infused is throwing at Epsilon is just being countered immensely. There really hasn't been a break in this action right now for Epsilon. They are absolutely dominating. And as we watch Buck 57 and squad just keep moving around, right? They've been holding this bottom middle and the nest for quite some time now. As we all know, that is the best, or excuse me, those are the best 2 strongholds to hold. And here we have 1 shot left in the railgun for Buck 57. Let's see if he can make use of it.
And we did hear Infused kind of shouting out a few different tactics, saying, right, maybe we should push through Spiral, but they just can't seem to break this Epsilon wall at the moment.
No, not at all. And now we're going to have 2 Foxy off the spawn trying to help out his entire team. It looks like they're going to go for a triple cap here. Very, very quick cap. That's 4.5 seconds, folks, if you get all 3 people in it at the exact same time. Now a great dodge right there from that railgun. And it looks like Epsilon now is trying to take this hill. Here they go, Buck 57, 3 guys in the hill, going for the triple cap. Unfortunately, though, Blackjack making a play, steps in, steps out. Oh my goodness, what a play by Blackjack. He knew when to bait and switch, and now here he is making a play for this nest stronghold. Amazing call.
Yeah, Blackjack doing so well to stay alive. I think it might be a little too late for these Infused boys, but I mean, we see the try capture coming in now. If they can just make the perfect setup, maybe they can win this game. But it does look like Buck 57 is going to grab the nest, which obviously is one of the vital strongholds.
So unless these guys can grab the yard here very quickly to try and turn the tide of it, I mean, bottom middle is still in the possession of Infused, so they need to grab this yard. And it looks like Alex over here, Buck 20, is going to push in, try and stop it. They do not. So now it's amazing that we actually have 2 caps going in the favor of Infused.
But with Yard kind of being one of the strongholds to hold with bottom mid, that's a very difficult setup to kind of make.
I mean, the only benefit you have, right, is the spawn that we just saw Chalky get. He's going to spawn and have a little bit of an area to watch from this driveway position, but under no circumstances is this somewhere you want to be. I mean, you get caught with your pants down. Watch this. There he goes, getting taken down, and now you have Jimbo trying to secure this last hill. There it is, and it looks like that's all she wrote here for the Epsilon squad.
Yeah, just a couple more points now. I don't think there's any chance for Infused to get this one back, and that will be game 3 going to Epsilon Esports. A great response after going 2-0 down.
I mean, that was immaculate, right? Their strategy, we all knew that they were going to get off to a good start, but they ran with it. I mean, we did see a few glimpses of hope from the Infused roster, but it just looked like the teamwork was too strong. The angles, right? The Bucks were moving as a force, and it just looked like everyone was playing their game. Railguns were getting hit.
And I think Infused, like, kind of maybe Strongholds isn't their game type. We saw them lose a Strongholds game in the quarterfinals. I think it's just a better game type for these Epsilon boys. Let's have a look at the stats now. Run me through them, guys.
Yeah, so obviously you got Jimbo putting up some amazing stats, right? Now, what I used to do when I was a player and on Team Carbon, I always got trashed for having, you know, small amount of kills, if you will, compared to Gandhi, right? So I'd always say, man, I had 17 kills and I had 17 assists. I messed with 34 dudes. How many dudes did you mess with, right? So you go down the list. The next guy, Snipe Drone, 31. The next guy after that, 24. The next guy after that, 23. So when you look at it, I mean, 34 is substantial. That guy had an effect on 34 kills. I mean, absolutely great play by Jimbo. And we look at the rest of the Infused roster. They didn't really do too much. They had some great assists. 2 Foxy didn't really bring it up with the assists, but I mean, hey, that's how the cookie crumbles.
I think Infused just really struggled to break the setup that Epsilon Epsilon put in place. Infused did have a little bit of early control, but they just didn't set up quite well enough. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe Strongholds, they aren't great at breaking setups.
Yeah.
But we can move on. We can go to a CTF Fathom.
Oh yeah, of course. And I mean, just to touch back one more time on that Strongholds game, you got to think, right? The push that Infused kept making was the loop one. They kept pushing loop. They pushed glass. They pushed light rifle. I very rarely saw the push from hotel, the push from cafe, right? From even from flowers. They never got S4 and up in their enemy's business, right? In the nest area. So I wish I saw more out of them, but unfortunately, yes, we are going to move on now to the 4th game. Capture the flag on Fathom.
Yeah, CTF Fathom. I mean, you drew a diagram for me earlier about this map. Because I said, I mean, I love Fathom, but sometimes I just don't get these spawns. And you were like, right, they spawn here, here, and here. This is what you've got to block. What does this Epsilon team have to do to win this game?
So yes, when it comes down to the spawn system on this map, there are very particular areas. Now, there are a few emergency spawns, if you will, but those can be met with some solid, some solid blockage, if you will. It just simply, going over to that area will kind of force enemies to spawn away from you, right? Now, we know that they do spawn in that back BR corner, in the flag area, in the silo area, right? So it's really just a matter of how you want to work it, right? If you're going to keep pushing into their flag and you don't worry about that silo, I mean, that silo is next to your treehouse. They have instant access into your flag, into your splinter nades, into your battle rifle, your storm rifle. There's so many options when they get that silo spawn that for me, that's really what I like to shut down. But let's talk about these players to watch.
Yeah, Chalky and Jimbo. I mean, probably, I could say they're two of UK's best players, like some raw slaying power from both of these guys. Jimbo, obviously a fan favorite from the Americans, and kind of Chalky used to be that guy. He used to be a big fan favorite of the Americans.
Oh, for
Jimbo's
sure.
kind of taken that control now. So there's a little bit of rivalry, maybe an unknown rivalry,
yeah,
but there's definitely a clash here.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, Chalky is well renowned from the H2A portion of our tournaments, right? He's been such a prominent sniper, especially on Sanctuary. I mean, we saw the guy just blaming everything in sight, and I gotta give him props for that. But at the same time, he didn't transition well. It's a constant, thing that we reiterate here, is that he didn't transition as well as we thought he would to this game. Now, when he comes to this weekend, we've seen a new Chalky. We haven't seen Halo 2 Anniversary Chalky with Sniper. We've seen a dominant slaying god, right? He's just moving around the map, trying to do the best he can to support 2 Foxy as he's slaying. But Jimbo is known as now this H5 flashy player. He goes for the sniper at times when sniper turn isn't grabbing it. He's going for the ground pounds and so on and so forth. So Jimbo is definitely the playmaker here.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see both Jimbo and Chalky fighting for this top mid control, trying to get those important weapons, grab that railgun. I mean, let's see what Jimbo can do.
Yeah, let's start it off with him. I mean, the guy is like you said, he's always controlling that top mid. He loves the railgun, and you know what? With good reason. That is the way to do it. And here you go, grabbing the BR. Look at that. I mean, this guy has a method to the madness. He turned around out of his base, grabbed the BR. He's already top middle, knows that there's light rifles coming, shots at him, focuses down low first, worries about camo guys on his side. Unfortunately, worried about a little too long, gave up the railgun, and it looks like we're gonna have the railgun now in, I believe that is
2 Foxy, I believe did, but he was taken down by snipe drone, so the railgun is kind of just on the floor, waiting for someone to pick it up. As we see the flag now being moved early for Epsilon Esports.
I hate that angle. I can't tell you how many times, you want to kill the guy that's running the flag there, but you just can't be too certain, right? I mean, you're shooting the guy's toes, for Christ's sake, not his head, so you just want to get a better angle if you can. Chalky, though, making the best out of the worst situation.
Yeah, Chalky kind of, he wanted to stay, he wanted to push and try and return that flag, but instead he said, okay, maybe that flag's a lost cause, I'll try and stay alive. Unfortunately, he does get shot down, as we now see the railgun in Snipe Drone's hands.
Oh, yeah, and just a second ago, that's the 3rd railgun now for Snipe Drone. Yes, that was the double kill, but beforehand, he got a railgun and meleeed that body. Here it is. Look at this. He's aware of these silo spawns. He knows that there's guys coming to his base. There's already a guy falling back Blackjack. That was an amazing play. Let's switch on board with him. But it looks like we're going to be moving in now with Buck 20. I'm going to switch on with him as he tries to get that flag. Unfortunately, does not, as Snipe Drone waits patiently in the flag. And he gets taken down, as now we're going to see Blackjack in here trying to support his team. But look at this. He's still surveying those silo spawns, right? It's a constant thing you have to maintain. You know that once you're in your base, in their base, they're going to be spawning out.
And that was a great response from Infused as well. Epsilon had pulled a 2nd flag, had it all the way into their base, but Infused was so quick off their spawns to make sure they killed the Epsilon players. They threw like 3 nades in and just took down 2 of the Epsilon members. And now we see the flag out for Infused.
And it looks like all 4 are Yes, all 4 are dead now for Infused as we see Snipe Drone running the flag top middle. Classic move from him, right? He's going to grab this, and he just throws it off for the railgun. Normally we see him ground pound down to the front of the base, but this guy is feeling that rail, right? He just got a triple kill, and now he's here to try and secure this next cap.
I like that. Playing the long game. He says, yeah, okay, maybe I could ground pound, get close to putting this flag in, but we know how important the railgun is, as well as the camo on this map. Not seen anyone kind of use the camo to full advantage yet.
Oh, not at all, but it looks like Blackjack, he knows the flag is up, but we also see Buck20 go. 2 guys going for returns. Now, the very big point I want to make, I haven't made it all weekend, is that, all right, first of all, Ramirez, you burned camo. That's unfortunate. But the big point I want to make this weekend is that with the flag return, a lot of people don't know that if you have more than 1 player on the flag, it will return faster. So now, right there, we saw 2 members of the Epsilon jump on that flag return, and of course, you see it return quicker.
Wow. 2-0. This is a great response from Epsilon. I didn't even see that flag get pulled.
And the
as
ninja
Buck20 is going off.
Oh my God. I mean, you can't ask for a better way to cap a flag. I mean, you get that and then you just give it to him. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't see that flag get pulled.
Oh my
Epsilon
God.
are so quick with these flag pulls. Jimbo now dropping the tea bags. They are completely back into this series.
We bagging now. Jimbo is making plays. He's pushing in, watching that silo spawn yet again, even though no one of his team is in the enemy base yet, actually. But Chalky's squeaking by that silo. They're going to have to worry about him for a little bit. Jimbo making sure that they kill him first. He's still a nuisance. And look at that, folks. The obedience, the self-discipline to go back for this kill. They know that he's a nuisance, and if you leave him, he could cause some serious damage.
And I want to see a little bit of passion from Epsilon. Some people say they're a little bit boring, the Bucks kind of, but oh my God, he gets taken down. And I just think Epsilon, right, these are the guys that have dominated the scene. They've come into this series, Infused came out hot, went 2-0 up, and Epsilon have now woken up.
You know what? And I gotta say, we listened earlier to Epsilon in this weekend, and they sounded very calm and collected. I'm curious, are these guys heating up right now? Are they getting furious? I'd love to kick it to a listen in here and hear what Epsilon Esports can do. Right now, we're gonna hop on board with Snipe Drone as he pushes out of the base, and he's gonna get some nades down top middle, trying to get over into the red, the red tower, right? He wants to maintain that control, but it looks like his teammates asking for some help to defend the base, and they're gonna need it as Ramirez tries to make a play but does not.
Yeah, let's jump into a listening now with Epsilon and see what they've got to say as they are currently leading 2-0.
I'll tree still. I want you to do
I'll glass as well, I'll glass.
Grenade. I'll tree. Stay left, Jim. Stay left. Alex, Jim, just stay there. 22, 23. All around our front base, Jim. Running through pit, running through pit, Jim. Mike's got a good shot. Rami, watch up on mid. Watch up on mid. Got railgun bot mid. Last range. Flag. Guys, watch up on middle. Alex 3. I'm spawning across map. I'm staying with. Actually, I'm just head down on it, Alex. I'm going back. Make sure this goes in. Make sure this goes in. Coming. Meet you, push up. One more flag. Glass. One shot on the grass. Shields. We're spawning in. Two flag. You get me. Nice. One shot. Don't worry. They're running flag. Enemies. One shot. Flag goes one. Kill him, flag. Flag weak. Base one hit. Rami's one shot small door. Alex. One shot small door still. On a small door. Can be flanking you, Alex. He's approaching me. Rami's weak on base. Sure kill Jim. 3, get me. Alex, where do you go? The flag, watch on beach. Flag, watch on beach. Wouldn't get me. See there from base, mate. Free. They got that. Leave it. One's their front jump. Still on a flag. He's running it bottom mid. Guys, no one pit maybe. In pit twice. Up pit. Gary. Top mid, guys. Up pit maybe. Up pit. Once I scored on, guys. I should need you guys to the back. Watch out. Alex, try and get top mid. Go touch tree. They're tree. When you push that tree. Mike, I think this one by you. Be careful. Top mid, they're around. Top mid now, Fox, you're around.
With their tree.
We're coming now.
With their tree, Alex.
Two dead.
And it looks like we just heard quite a different story, right? We were just talking about how cool, calm, and collected Epsilon sounded on the mics earlier this weekend. Then we saw them start to freak out, and now we start to hear them shut down. And it looks like Team Infused is making their classic stand right in the middle of the game. So I'm curious to see what they have to say.
Yeah, it'd be good if we could kind of jump into an Infused listening as well. So if we can do that now and see what they've got to say about this game.
We don't want to stay.
I've got camo, don't worry.
Bottom middle, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, it's me.
They're caught, and in the read. They're spawning on the flag.
Don't worry, I've got camo ready.
You got it.
He's weak on the flag. One shot on the flag. Got him.
Got it?
Force to me.
On me. Everyone's come back now.
Come here, Jake.
I got it. Mate, oh, ass up,
On me, I can't kill him, I can't kill him.
Ass up, two going for it, two going for it.
Sid, let me get that room.
Two on a flag.
I can slay.
3 in a row, 3 in a row, ready.
Stop, wait.
Two on it, yeah, two on it. Run it, man. There's one on the sub, and one tossing it in. One bar middle as well.
We can carry this again.
Bar middle as well, bar middle. You got to slay first. It's you guys.
Have to slay. Do that from base.
Shot from base, no drone.
Yeah, two there, we can't get out. Our flag's been taken. Don't worry.
Man, I literally said, let me get the rear camo rail, and you both are there.
Just do it. Game 5, need to slay. Need to slay.
Wow, I mean, that's just a great response from Epsilon. We saw Jimbo just stand up in his chair, put his arms aloft. He kind of saying, what now? Look, wait, don't throw this one away, boys. This was your chance, but now it's all even again, 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, I think that no one saw this coming, right? We knew that Epsilon was going to come to play, but under no circumstances did we expect them to turn around a 2-0 lead and just bring it right there even. Now look at Ramirez's face. He's wondering, what did we do wrong that game? And what are we going to do next? And look at that little smirk right there out of the Bucks. Jimbo cracking his knuckles, just making sure that he's ready. And I got to give it to the Epsilon squad. They pulled it together.
Yeah, and we saw kind of Infused Chalky. He kind of wanted to countercap at the end there, and maybe was the wrong play. We heard a few of his teammates saying, no, we need to slay. But anyway, let's jump into these stats. I mean, looking at that, Ghost, what kind of jumps out for you?
I mean, I got to say that Blackjack really jumps out to me, right? Again, the 17 and 12, right? Kills and assists. He had 15 deaths, obviously not the best, but still did a great job for his team. Now, the weird thing to me is seeing that Alex, Buck20 that is, went 9, 13, and 14, but they just still had such a commanding, lead for the entire game. I was really surprised. Obviously, Snipe Drone went off 20, 12, and 12. You can't ask for more than that from someone. I mean, a great play. And he was dominating with the railgun, right? We saw the double kills. We saw kill after kill. I mean, he was just doing a great job.
And I know we were talking about spawns before the game. Do you think that was one of Epsilon's key to victory? Do you think they controlled the spawns better than Infused did?
Honest to God, I really didn't see much spawn control. And maybe it's just because it hasn't really gotten that prominent in Halo 5 mindset. But you would normally see people holding the silo, but this time it was mostly just, oh, it's an afterthought. We are in their base. Oh yeah, that's right. They're spawning silo, and I guess you can call that spawn control. But to me, it's more about spawn blocking and forcing the enemy to spawn where you want them to. And it seems like in this game, everyone's just pushing to the flag. Everyone's getting into their treehouse. It was kind of a lack of spawn control, in my opinion.
I think it was kind of a fast-paced game. There's a lot on the line here. These boys, they didn't want to give the other team a chance to set up.
Correct.
So I suppose if you get in their face and don't give them the chance, well, then you won't see much spawn control. Game 5, though, Eden Team Slayer. Now, we saw the first two games go to Infused 2-1, 50-39. Then we saw Epsilon come back with 100-54 on PLAZA Strongholds, then a 3-1 on FATHOM CTF. Eden Slayer, with momentum in Epsilon's hands now, do you think they're going to run away with this one?
I don't know. The big point I want to make here, actually, Dan, is that this is a game 5. Yeah, we're going to 7 for sure, right? Or it could only go to 6, But this is a game 5. Now, when you talk about sports, you talk about your best of 7 series, right? The World Series, the NBA Finals, right? All those series, you have. The team hosts, 2 in their home, 2 in the other home. Next thing you know, you get to that game 5, and it's a deciding factor, especially when you're talking about this 2-2 even set. So I have to think that this is really going to be the turning point of this entire series. Whoever's going to win this, I think is going to go on to win the entire thing.
I definitely think this is do or die for Infused. I think if they lose this, going into a Strongholds rig game 6, we saw them losing twice in Strongholds games previously. We've got the players to watch. We've got 57, your objective man, on the Epsilon side. And of course, Ramirez, the team captain. Again, more of a dirty work kind of player. I mean, both of these players in a Slayer game type, I think they need to be staying alive. I don't want to see them being overly aggressive.
And that's why these guys are our players to watch, right? We saw Buck57 have a little bit of a rough start in those first 2 games. He went neg, if you will. And And then we saw Ramirez, you know, he put up some stats, but at the same time, we know that he is capable of just kind of being the guy that they put all the dead weight on, right? So when it comes to Eden Team Slayer, when it comes to being this very crucial game type, I got to expect that these guys need to be the X factors here, right?
On Coliseum Slayer earlier, I noticed that Ramirez was grabbing the sniper, and I've got a feeling that his teammates said, look, okay, grab the sniper because naturally that will make you calm down a bit and make you sit back. Here we've got their head-to-head. We can see these boys. I think we're going to start things off with Snipe Drone. He's looking cool and collected there in his team. The fist pumps coming out from both teams.
Yep.
I'm glad to see there are the fist pumps. There's the passion. There's this companionship. This is great.
And we want to start off with Snipe Drone for obvious reasons, right? We're talking about Team Slayer Eden, and who better to watch than Snipe Drone on the Epsilon squad? The guy's constantly rotating as the Bucks and Jimbo make plays for him, and he can just sit back and pop off shots. So we're going to see if he can make a difference here.
And I watched Snipe Drone earlier on this map. He looks across and then he jumps and thrusts for the sniper. Let's see if he does exactly the same. He thrusts off the wall. Exactly. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to grab this sniper.
And you would think, though, Dan, if you're sitting here telling me that before it even happens, that you would hope that Infused would make a play. Great no-scope from Snipe Drone. However, he gets taken down. I believe that was by Blackjack. Yes, Blackjack now has the sniper as his teammate Chalky has the rockets, and Chalky is going to try and help him out a little bit. Oh. Blackjack a little bit concerned right there with that look.
I love seeing all these players going for these no-scopes, but a nice early lead now for Infused. They've got control of the rockets. Well, they did until I said that. As Chalky gets shut down, we now move over to Ramirez, who has picked them up instead.
And look at that nade. Perfectly placed nade. Now, these guys have played this map numerous times. They know that guys will wait here in the corner, especially with rockets, right, with shotguns, something like that. Oh, my God! That was completely accidental, but amazing at that. I mean, the guy missed the rocket. He whiffed it harder than hell, hit the guy behind him. I haven't seen that since H2 Karma days on Beaver Creek. Amazing, and then pulls out the shotgun and gets that double kill. I mean, they're up 9-3 for a freaking reason.
I mean, rockets and shotgun is an interesting combo for one, and now Andy Ramirez, he now knows that if he can just sit here with the shotgun, he can wait, he can be the predator. I want to see some patient gameplay from this man. They're 7 kills ahead. If they can hold on to this, I mean, it's about maintaining a lead in a Slayer. You don't want to throw away unnecessary kills.
Great job right there, right? He knew that BR was just waiting to be picked up. Everyone knows that the BR is very, very crucial as an on-map pickup. We know that the Magnum can definitely battle it, but when you're talking about these long-range battles, you want to have that extra red reticle range, and that's what the BR gives you. Now, Blackjack, unfortunately, we didn't get to see him, but he lost the sniper, and so we got it on Jimbo now. Great timing as he picks up a kill on Ramirez, who's just waiting and goes for another snipe. Unfortunately, not the same caliber, I guess, of Snipe Drone. Oh, my God, it hits the no-scope as Buck20 cleans it up, and they are just making plays right now. But you know what this is for? This is for rockets now. So we have Blackjack picking up the rockets, and let's see if he can get out of here alive. And he does. Amazing play. So we're gonna have back on board with Jimbo as he gonna try and see if there's anyone pushing. I mean, that's just clueless, Ramirez. You gotta step it up. You can't be pushing that corner, especially when there could be a guy crouching there.
And especially when Ramirez had a shotgun in hand. You don't want to be just running aimlessly at the opponent when you've got such a power weapon in your hands. Jimbo now needs to go off of this sniper. He needs to go for it for his team. He needs to get the energy going again like we saw in the last game.
And he knows that 2 teammates just died due to 1 rocket burst, right? So he's trying to play as smart as he can, not give up really any information of where he's at. No! Oh my God, I almost lost my cool. That should have happened. Ramirez, unfortunately, for him, of course, for Jimbo, cleaned that kill up. And so we have Blackjack still patrolling, still has 2 rockets. That's at that. I mean, the rockets have been up now for a full minute. This guy gets his 3rd kill on Snipe Drone, and it looks like they are just taking this lead to the max, 20-11.
But that's good, right? You want to keep those rockets for when you get the kills. You see a lot of players kind of wasting rockets, but Blackjack, he's a very intelligent player. He definitely brings that dynamic to this Infused squad. He knows what he's doing. He's one of those players that can kind of pick up a weapon and say, right, I know what I need to do with it.
Correct. And let's hop on board with Chalky, one of the best snipers that we know and love here in Europe. He's just hitting the shot again, but we were watching Blackjack kind of watch his back and make sure that he had some security right there in tower. Unfortunately, Blackjack gets cleaned up, so now Chalky is very well aware that there's going to be a guy pushing him. Amazing angle. Look at that, waiting for Buck57 to pop up. Great shot.
I love these angles from Chalky. You can just see him using the hover mechanic and just waiting for his prey to walk in front of him. Chalky is really heating up this weekend. He's definitely performing how we're expecting him to after H2A.
Oh, yeah, and now this is a little bit of a questionable play, right? He's pushing in. We know he needs to help out his team. He hits the wall, and that's the end of his run right there. I mean, my goodness, just the sloppiest play I've seen seen out of him all weekend, unfortunately. But we're going to have 2 Foxy picking up the rockets here, and he has the light rifle in his back pocket. Great combo to have when you're talking about Eden.
And Epsilon just can't seem to get hold of these rockets. We constantly see them in the hands of Infused. I mean, Infused just seems to be setting up a lot better as we see 1 rocket kill for Foxy, and I believe he just took down Jimbo, who had the sniper, as we now see Chalky picking that up. Massive play.
And watch just the patience here, right? 2 Foxy pushes out. Instead of pushing outside, pushes back to red. Says, you know what, I'm going to take the safe route. I'm going to go bottom red through the stairs into tower. Sure enough, sees the guys in front of him, gets the rocket kill. Guess what? Instead of just jumping up like a mindless jackass, the guy reloads the rocket launcher. Look how patient. He hasn't moved in 30 seconds. And you know why? Because he has a 10-kill lead, and he has the self-discipline of an amazing pro right now.
It is a shame to see both of those rockets just get whiffed, though. He's only got 1 left in the chamber. He should make this one count to try and extend this lead. But, I mean, wow, this is quite a deficit for Epsilon Esports. Do you think they can even get... What? How do you get back into a game like
when it comes down to this, it's really the next rockets, right? So at this 6-minute mark, it is crucial. This is the turning point, and we all know that with Team Slayers, that it comes down to that 6-minute mark, right? When teams really need a boost, a momentum boost, right? There's the sniper rifle coming up and the rocket launcher, so you need to be very, very careful, and you want to grab the right one, right? And judging by how Infused is playing right now, you need to get the rockets out of their hands. I mean, look at this guy. He's just running terrace. The guy still has a minute 30 lever.
Yeah, and I like what he did. He was just very patient with that last rocket. We saw it in his backpack for almost a minute. He said, I'm not going to use it until I need it. We see him now firing some light rifle shots down, but he does get taken out as we now all jump on board with Snipe Drone, who needs to really step up for his team, maybe get this new sniper.
Yep.
But unfortunately, he's just getting railed by everything in the book.
But I mean, it looks good for him, right? I mean, the guy was holding for the rockets. Jimbo looks like he's searching around maybe for a sniper or something. I guess maybe some more BR ammo. Yeah, there you go. And because of that, right? Because he just was too concerned with his BR instead of a Magnum. I mean, he could cost himself a big deal right here. I mean, we do see Epsilon grab the rockets, right? That's what we just highlighted. They needed to do it, but that was a very weird jump to put himself into. I mean, he just put himself in a crazy place and now gets hit by the PLAZA grenade. I can't help but think that this is not going to work out for Buck 57. No.
I mean, we did say they needed the rockets to make any sort of comeback, but I mean, if you think about it, you're only going to get maximum 4 kills from the rockets.
Yep.
They're down by 13. Infused could be going 3-2 up in this series and be 1 game away from the grand final.
Oh my goodness, what a rocket from Jimbo, but he gets taken down now. It looked like Ramirez was really going to put in work, right? We talked about how you got to grab one of those 2 power weapons, and it looked like Infused did end up grabbing that sniper, but 2 Foxy just catches a Buck 20 off guard. Very uncharacteristic of the Bucks. They're normally very well aware of something like that, especially when talking about radar.
And I really don't think Epsilon were expecting this from Infused. Infused have really been in their face. They've been aggressive, but they've also held their angles really well.
Yep.
As we can see now, Blackjack, I love this ledge. I love how players can sit here and look along that catwalk.
Oh yeah, it's a phenomenal ledge, especially for, you know, peeking with the light rifle, the sniper rifle. But I got to point out, we just saw Epsilon, right, just drop down bottom middle for that kill. You're talking about a 12-kill deficit, man. You can't be dropping down trading kills. I mean, if you go 1-to-1, you can lose the game. You need to start setting up. You need to start playing it patiently. We always kind of talk about damnation, right, as Halo players. This structured format back in Halo 1, you have to play it very methodically. Lockout, same idea, waiting for that next sniper, the next sword if it's going to come up, the shotgun top middle, and here you have it. But unfortunately, with Epsilon here, they're not waiting. They're just forcing the matter at hand.
But we still see the sniper rifle in the hands of Blackjack, and I think the only way Infused will lose this game now is if they get a little bit worried as their lead begins to slip. Yeah, I think Epsilon are kind of bringing this back, but Blackjack with the swipe snipe there, he's going to push, try and get a different angle on catwalk.
I don't like this positioning right now. He's really out in the open to any spawn kills, right? And he just knows that oh my God, but he hits it. Oh my God, no! Ridiculous, and that is the power player double kill right there for you, folks. Amazing no-scope as Blackjack. I'm glad I'm on you, my man, because you just hit a ridiculous snipe, and here comes the next one in 30 seconds, folks.
I mean, we spoke about Chalky being one of the best UK snipers, but give credit to this man. He is really performing today. He's putting shots in everything. He's run out of ammo now as he tries to get the SMG kill, but they are only 2 kills away now. 1 kill. Can we see Foxy take it? Yes, we can. 50-39. Infused a 3-2 up in this series,
And
Ghost.
that is the turnaround that we talked about, right? Game 5. That is a huge deal. That's the swing vote, if you will. And Infused, just look at that. Ramirez talking trash. He knows he's not being too vocal about it, but he's just saying it under his breath. He's like, yeah, dude, we just did it. Let's get it.
I mean, that is just the best response. After going 2-0 up, and for Epsilon to bring it back 2-2, to win that 3rd game, takes so much experience, takes so much passion. But I just want to say, going into this next game, Strongholds rig, I don't think I've actually seen it all tournament. This is my favorite game type, and finally, someone has got far enough in a series that I can see it.
Yeah, it is a great game type, right? There's so many rotations on it. There's so much teamwork that's brought into that game type. So we're definitely going to have to hop in a few listen-ins. But here, let's check out the stats here on this last match. And it looks like Slayer on Eden, yeah, right? We saw a 50-39 final score and a little bit of a weird...
Yeah, just looks a little bit skew-if, but I'm
trying
not sure if
to
that
figure
is
this one out
correct.
here.
But we've got the kills there anyway.
Those aren't the right kills, though, because they definitely don't add up to 50. So I'm not really sure what happened here, folks. But we did see, let's just talk about the highlights, right? We saw Blackjack just dominate. I mean, the guy had about an 8-9 kill lead, and it looked like Epsilon could have made a minor run, right? But Blackjack, he took the sniper all the way from red BR corner, rotated on the top of the red base, rotated onto the bottom of red base, went to tower, went through tower, went top of catwalk, went catwalk to blue. He's in blue, and he on the top of that catwalk hits the double no scope and then moves in further. I mean, the guy just, that's exactly what you want to do with a sniper on Team Slayer. Neighbor always he punches that home for me. I mean, when the guy is moving around so fluidly, I have to say, you know, hats off to Blackjack. The guy is such a young player, and coming out with that type of veteran strategy, man, loved it.
We saw a lot of big plays with the rockets as well from Infused, especially when Foxy picked it up. He then caught an Epsilon player bottom mid with the sniper, killed that guy, then Chalky was able to grab the sniper. They had both power weapons in hand. I mean, the question is, why was an Epsilon player bottom mid with a sniper? But who knows? Game 6. Strongholds on the rig. Wow, I honestly didn't think we were going to get this far with these two teams. I was maybe looking at Infused taking 1, maybe 2, but they are dominating this series 3-2.
And this is a big deal. I mean, this is literally the tournament for Epsilon, right? I mean, if they lose this, they're out. They're not going to the finals. And then Infused will get to face Riot's, their old team members. So, I mean, this has so much on the line right here for this Game 6. And what better game type than Strongholds on rig? I mean, we couldn't ask for a better setup for this story right here.
And not only does it put them in the finals, but it gives so much credibility to this team to beat Epsilon, who have been over to the States, been to X Games, beaten teams like Renegade. I mean, this is an amazing performance from these guys. They wanted to prove a point, and at the moment, they're proving it.
Oh, yeah, and sickness or not, right? We brought it up earlier in the day. We know that a few of the guys over on Epsilon, and I believe one over on Infused, they're a little bit under the weather. So it is a little bit different, right? But in the same sense, you go home, you come back the next tournament, you don't really think like, oh yeah, I was sick, because you know, no excuses, right? Play like a champion. And at the end of the day, these guys, they're gonna have it in the back of their head that they're not invincible anymore. They aren't unbeaten on land if they lose this game right here or the next game, whichever one it'll be. So it's a do or die situation for Epsilon.
Well, I mean, we kind of talk about sickness, but let's be honest, if I'm ill off work, usually I'm playing games at home anyway. These guys know how to play when they're sick.
I guess I'm at work playing games too. You know, I'm playing games no matter what. But you know, I can't speak for everyone.
Head to head now. Will this be the last game? Will Epsilon be eliminated here? We see Blackjack standing up,
Look at that.
and on the opposite side, it's like a mirror here. Both teams throwing the fist bumps. We know how much it means to both of these teams.
Ramirez, though, I gotta point him out. This guy is absolutely hyped. He just had that captain stand up, right? When you stand up and you look at your team and you just tell them, let's and go, right? And you just want to make it happen. So this guy is furious right now. We're going to start off with him and see what he does to determine the beginning of this game.
Interestingly, Infused, they are going to capture the BR base. We do see a lot of teams that will just run away from it because we know how important the others are. The active camo now going in the hands of Ramirez. Now, will he shoot? Yes, he does shoot because he was spotted.
Damn.
I think he probably wanted to just sneak in there and sit with the camo.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, it's unfortunate for him to make that play. I know that he thought he got out of there, you know, completely scot-clean, but unfortunately he did not. And now we're going to see them being down in this match as it looks like Epsilon's going to put some points on the board with their scoring, but a random railgun just happens to fall into his hands. Pretty nice.
It's always great when a railgun's on the floor when you're wandering around the map, but Ramirez does need to be careful here. He's obviously going to be open to nades. Goes for the quick rail, goes for the ninja.
God, all right. It almost happened,
he
folks.
tried all the plays there, but unfortunately he was taken down.
All right, and Blackjack, the final member alive, actually working with Chalky right now, but it looks like both of them are looking at two separate players, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, and what I want to see from this Infused lineup now, they need to get control of this nest. I like to see a team that can push together, use one player as a distraction, and then send someone to nest to get control. But it looks like they've done the opposite. They pushed for basement. They've got control of basement, which is brilliant. Now they can push towards nest.
Yes, and the reason why you want to get that basement, I mean, if you can, of course, is because it's going to force all of your spawns to the back corner of the map, right? And when you have those lines of sight on nest, you have a much better chance of capping it. And look, I mean, Chalky's been alive for how long now? The guy's just doing absolute work. And look at that, we see Perry 2Fox sitting on the top of that little ledge. Let's hop on board with him, as this guy's just going to cause some problems. Look at that, he's waiting for spawns.
And this was a great retake of these two strongholds. We saw 3 members of Epsilon be taken down by grenades. So these Infused guys know where to place their grenades. We see Epsilon now trying to retake this basement.
I'm going to call them out. They pushed too far. 2Foxy was far up, sure. But another guy on their team, I'm not sure who, was pushed up way too far to the point where they actually got spawned behind by Epsilon. Sure enough, though, they played damage control, and they shut them down. And here we have it. It's 13, about to be 13 to 21 as they continue their comeback.
Yep, Infused have got hold of this basement and nest. Obviously, the 2 strongholds you want to be holding in this game. If there's no reason they can't win the game from this point if they can make a decent setup. We see Ramirez pushing towards the next camo. That's both camos he's got. So let's see if he can do a little bit of damage.
I'm seeing if he's going back for the scatter shot. I know he walked over it, and as a player, you got, there it is. I knew it was in the back of his head when he turned around right there, because you know how dominant this scatter shot camo is. Now, his teammate, I believe that's, who is that? That's Chalky. He was just here in the Batman ledge, but unfortunately gets cleaned up. Now, Ramirez, we're going to hop on, back on board with Ramirez, as he has this camo scatter shot, trying to do the best he can to stay alive. He has a little bit more time left, but unfortunately, he's about to get back whacked. No!
God. That play, I was going to commend him and say it was a decent play that he didn't rush in, but unfortunately he choked his scatter shots there.
Yeah, and not only that, right, but the guy had camo, and he thought he was going to go for the surefire kill. Instead, he should have just probably stayed back, right? You want to wait for that flank. It's something that we used to talk about in Halo 3 is when you're the first guy to spawn, you got to set up for the flank. You have to be the guy that's not initiating but coming up the back.
And look how close this game is, neck and neck. Each team is retaking and then losing and then retaking, and now we see the try control from Blackjack.
And yeah, Blackjack, right, he just got a triple kill. Ooh, baby, a triple. And here he is coming in with just holding a great angle. I mean, this garage door, it's such a pain in the ass to shoot someone who's just constantly clambering up there, just being really annoying. And here he is with the BR now. Buck 57 knew that. Oh my God, knew that Blackjack was waiting there, but reversal. And there we have it as Blackjack. Now look at this. This guy is just doing everything he can. He's staying alive. I mean, how old is this guy? This is the young talent, because he's playing like a true veteran.
And they were... Epsilon was so close of getting basement there. There was a slither left to get that stronghold, but Blackjack just stayed alive perfectly, kept putting shots, distracted the guys in that basement as his teammates came round from behind and finished off the kill to reset the stronghold.
Yep, and now we're going to jump on board now with Ramirez as he gets a clutch scatter shot kill. There's a railgun in that pit as Ramirez tries to stay alive. Unfortunately for him, though, Chalky is only above, and he gets taken down. But we're going to watch 2Foxy try and clean up this this nest and make a play. But it's a triple cap, folks, and that's in favor of Epsilon. Even though they are down by almost 20 points right now, they're going to be making a commanding comeback right here.
Yeah, we did start to see a little bit of a lead forming for Infused, but the triple cap does mean that Epsilon are getting back into this game. But we see Foxy get control of Nest. They now have 2 strongholds. They're scoring again as Foxy starts pushing towards this basement.
Yeah, he's doing an absolute pleasure for his team, right? Oh my God, almost got ninja'd, but sniped down. He got taken down, and he gets a solid double kill there for that 2 Foxy. Ooh, great little thrust out of the way right there with the plasma nade cancel. But oh my stick. And unfortunately, Jimbo gets right up next to him. So we're going to hop on board now with Chalky, who's doing a good job clearing out that basement.
Perfect, and a double kill from Chalky. He wants to get this basement. 3 members of Infused now sitting in it. If they take this, they will have total control, which they do. I mean, I want to see what these Infused players are saying. And maybe we can jump into a listening in a little bit for Infused, because they must be getting
this is it right here, right? This is the final match. For them, if they win it, they have a commanding lead of almost 40 points in Strongholds. I know they can make a comeback, and I mean Epsilon, but this is crazy. So I want to hear how excited these guys are. Let's hop on board with Infused for a listen-in.
One shot. On my body. Gate corner, rail, Andy. Hide, Andy. Gate corner. Gate corner. He's got rail, Jake. Huge win.
Jump.
Where else? Two dead. Come on, keep going.
Camos in about 10 seconds.
Rail one. They're alive, they're beast. I left him. He's 2 shots. 20 down.
Keep him pinned. Wait, hold. Pushing low to Nest.
I got one. Nest. Defend Nest. Go back.
2 Nest. He's one shot Nest. Nice.
I'm plucking.
And did you Steve it? Fucking hoon him.
He's dead.
He's one shot blinking in Nest.
Reset. We've not won.
I know.
Watch the push, Nest. They're back desperate.
Oh my God, Chalky, that railgun and clean up that switch was absolutely beautiful. I love you for it. And here it is. Is this the final moment?
2 points away now. They're just 1 point away. If they can hold on to this basement, they do. Knockout Epsilon
Absolutely
Esports.
unreal. I mean, look at these guys. Blackjack is freaking out right now, the young gun of the team. Ramirez, extremely happy. Cannot believe they just beat Epsilon. Unprecedented in Halo 5. We all thought they were the heavy favorites. I know everyone pretty much picked them to win outside of Dignitas. And here we have Epsilon just getting knocked out before the finals. What?
I am in absolute disbelief. What a performance from these Infused players. I did speak to them earlier and they said, this is our tournament. And well, they have well and truly showed up. Let's see if we can jump into the stats maybe.
Oh, yeah.
And see what a performance these boys did put on.
Sweet handshakes,
look
though.
at the smiles on these guys'
There's nothing
faces.
worse than just giving a firm handshake to the guy you just lost to.
And what's this rock, paper, scissors? I'm interested to see. Oh, I know what that's for. I think that's... No, I was going to say, if they win the final, who gets to pick up the trophy? That's the only thing I can imagine.
Oh, yeah.
These guys are so hyped right now.
Oh, my God. Buck 57. Sir, you are going to have it out for you today. I'm so sorry, but game 1, 2, and now 6... just rough games for you, man. And that's unfortunate to see. Maybe he's the dedicated support, the dedicated stronghold guy here, the objective guy. But unfortunately for him, it didn't work out. But let's hop back onto the winners, right? Chalky 19-9, Blackjack 16-8-8. I mean, and then you look at the rest of the team. They just put up assists for the squad and didn't die. I mean, I can't say enough about the Infused crew here.
I mean, we saw Chalky put up like 14 assists a couple of games ago, and now we see the Slayer side of Chalky. This is the tournament Infused that I've been trying to get my point across to you, Ghost. When these guys show up,
amazing.
They really well and truly perform, and I don't think anyone saw Epsilon being eliminated in the semi-finals, which will mean Infused will move to the finals to play XL. Obviously, XL having Riots on their team, who used to be a member of Infused. Big grudge match coming up.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, I said it earlier in this weekend, to be the best, you got to beat the best, right? And you got to think that being Infused, if you were Infused, you're thinking, man, we got the hard side of the bracket, right? But these guys came out with a different mentality. They didn't think about that. They knew what they were capable of. They started out the series going up 2-0. And then to win that turning point, game 5, that's what secured them the rest of the series. So to have that type of mentality coming in up against Epsilon, I mean, I can't give them enough props for it.
I mean, Strongholds rig, I wasn't really expecting that. We saw Infused lose a couple of Strongholds games, but, well, they well and truly performed. They will move to the finals. I believe Mitch has got an interview with one of the players.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we knew that if Infused were going to get to the grand final, they'd need to have an ace up their sleeve. But what they pulled out instead was a Jack. I'm here with the man himself. What an impressive game from all of you guys, but you specifically, mate, going absolutely nuts on Eden when you managed to get your hands on the sniper rifle. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. First of all, bro, when you walked up here, you said, I can't breathe. How are you feeling right now?
Oh, I'm so happy, man. This is everything we've been working for. We haven't had the best time online, and we lost Epsilon in the last tournament. So we had a big series coming into this. We knew it was going to be difficult. For them to come back from 2-0 down to tie it up 2-2, it showed the great character from them. But our squad is just so good, and we knew we could just take the series no matter what.
Mate, in general, you guys look like your slaying's been one of your strong points, especially in this game just gone. Obviously, we did see that first Strongholds map was pretty rough for you guys. You had a trip cap towards the end, but you weren't able to really. It was a bit late for that, I think.
Yeah.
What happened there? I mean, how'd you recover? What was the problem?
It's basically the camo on that map. The blue team spawn with it, and if you can't break the setup once, every 2 minutes they get invisibility again. And I think they got 3 or 4 in a row, and it just kept being the 4 on our side, really. We couldn't get past that. It's just one of those maps, really. If you don't get off to a good start, it can just run away from you.
So, I mean, on that note, we went towards Riddick for the last map, or the 6th map anyway. First time we've really seen it on stage this tournament. Now, was it a case of you guys not getting shut out early on? Because you're not the first to say it. Riot said to me as well, it's about those first few moments. Was that where you guys had it? Because you actually were behind to start with.
No, I think Rig, we just get much more like open battles with the pistols. I think skill-wise, we have a lot better aim than them. Whereas on Plaza, it's more about the automatic guns and the camo. So I felt when we got to play them on like a fair ground with the pistols, we were just a better team.
So now you've overcome this hurdle, which maybe before this you never would have thought you could have overcome. You got opponent in the grand final.
We thought we could.
Yeah, well, of course. But I even spoke to Ramirez, and he said, yeah, we can take this, but the statistics and history's not with us, I guess.
Well, we've beaten these guys for years. They only won a couple of tournaments recently on this game.
Right.
So.
A couple small tournaments here and there.
Small tournaments.
Oh, look, man, I mean, you're looking towards XL now as well. I mean, how are you guys feeling for that one? Do you think you have the edge on them? We talked about slaying power. You think you got the edge there as well?
I think they'll match us better than Epsilon did in the slaying power. But Epsilon's strategy and teamwork is really good, and we kind of learned a few things from them. We're kind of on that level. XL are a fairly new team, so I don't think they've got the strategy there. So as long as we can match them shot for shot, we'll win on the strategy side.
Well, there's only one way to find out, ladies and gentlemen. We have 2 UK teams in the grand final. Probably not the exact ones that you would have thought here at home, but who doesn't love a good upset, should I say. And of course, our cap-wearing cast is probably very, very happy to see one here at this point. But let's pass over the desk now as well to break down this 6-map ordeal, guys. Let's get stuck in.
Thank you very much. Well, the king is dead. Long live the king. It's time for a new team to take the top spot in European Halo. And the 2 teams we do have in the grand finals are not the 2 teams anyone would have picked. And that's pretty much the story of this weekend. We are going to be seeing XL versus Infused. Guys, just kind of get the first thoughts on how that all went down.
Wow, I mean, honestly, I was not expecting that. Infused came in very strong. I think from looking at that, my first analysis would be, the Bucks were not playing like they usually do. They were definitely kind of going off and doing their own thing. We saw from the stats, just a couple things to note. The Bucks had 13 kills combined only on the Rig Strongholds right there, and a combined total of 32 deaths. So not putting up some big numbers there. And then when we look back to Truth Slayer, they had the combined total of 30 deaths. So when you have 30 deaths combined, normally you say, hey, each player on your team gets about 12 to 13 deaths. If you start going over that, that's when you got to cool the jets, slow down a little bit, because you're giving up way too many kills.
Every single time. We just pretty much every single time we looked at them, and unfortunately it was just a really big negative number against the side of them, which I'm sorry, but Infused took full advantage. And I tell you what, that snapshot from Blackjack, Jesus Christ. You just saw it. He literally he lined it up, though, didn't he? Perfectly.
It was amazing. And I'm sure that's going into a montage reel somewhere. Right, let's get into this map by map. Let's kind of cut through these. Map number 1, Strong Sire. What have you got for me?
You know, Bucks started out strong. He was running the flag and getting great cover from his team, but you know, Infused really turned on the Jets towards the later part of the match, and they turned things around. You saw Chalky, 33 kills, just going off with every single weapon. Every time we were on his screen, it didn't seem like he was doing too much, so when we swapped off of him, he was definitely doing some work. But they had control of the sniper area. They were getting a lot of the power weapons too. That helped them solidify their second cap as well. So, I mean, great gameplay out of Infused to really turn things around in that game.
Pretty impressive to see Chalky back on top form. This is kind of what we needed, and this is what this roster needed in order to take down, you mentioned it, Long Live the King, in order to kind of jump up to where they were previous and what we've seen him in previous Halo titles. He needed to become the Chalky that we know and love, and that guy is a robot, and he's been on a mission to kind of get back up to this top spot. He nailed that.
They most certainly did. All right, let's move on to map number 2 then. And at this point, a lot of people were sitting like just amazed when this map ended and it was like 2-0 and like, oh my goodness, it looks like they're going to actually topple Epsilon. So guys, what did you make of that map and what went so wrong for Epsilon?
Well, that's kind of what I was bringing up earlier. The Bucks had a combined total of 33 deaths. Excuse me, 30 deaths. So they're definitely kind of pushing a lot on their own. They only, I think it was a combined total of probably 13 or 14 kills.
Yeah,
and that's
it wasn't great.
It's not a great ratio. So the Bucks normally they're like the protectors of the squad. They usually let snipe drone. We've been messing that up a lot this event, but they usually allow Jimbo and Snipe Drone to kind of do their own thing, and they weren't able to do that this event. I don't know if it's the travel. They said they weren't feeling well this event, or if it's just maybe they're getting a little too confident with all the experience that they've been getting at X Games and just traveling around.
I think part of it was we kind of spoke about, obviously, right now Epsilon hadn't been pushed for a lot of this tournament. They seem to be coasting. You go into a game with Infused, and Infused come out hot. They were hungry. They were looking for revenge, and Epsilon just didn't have the firepower to back it up. And it's only when they managed to they got rocked back on their heels, they started to push back in map number 3.
Yeah,
and you kind of used the word coasting. Sorry, you mentioned coasting. This is exactly what Lunny said, and he said about the Bucks that just slap them about and take down the 2 main guys, kind of keep them off defending Mike all the time and being them two. I don't know whether Infused are listening to Lunny's words, but they played that all panned out exactly what he said. You know, insight from a player there, but I'm still blown away. I mean, I did say that they would win it, to be fair, but it's just all kind of, every piece in the puzzle has fit together. Fair enough. Obviously, we got a little bit of a fight back from Epsilon.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about map number 3 then. I mean, Epsilon, like I said, they were rocked back on their heels. They were 2-0 down, and then they came back, and it was a good showing from them on Plaza.
Well, the Bucks have said they think Strongholds is their best game type.
Yeah.
So they went into this very confident, and they held down this basic the basic strategy setup. They're holding nest, holding bottom mid, and just really capitalizing on keeping the other team spawning far away, and they kept them at bay. So they did a really great job at that, and they really turned it around. But later in the series, you saw Strongholds did not favor them so well later
No, it didn't,
in the series.
and that was because I kind of said to, for anyone who was watching us, like, that's right, we're going to game number 7. I thought we were going to go to game number 7. We did not. All right, Sims there, if you want to kind of take me through map number 5. And this is, like I said, this is where it starts to go again against Epsilon.
Yeah, kind of looking at map number 5, I mean, it was number 4, Fathom. Everything didn't kind of go well for them that we're saying again. We saw, I mean, I think it was during that one, did we see Perry whipping out all the body shots, or was that the initial one? I think throughout the entire series, we pretty much saw Perry whipping out all the body shots. On that one, it was just, again, no real top mid-center control. You know, we saw the railgun coming out all the time. And the one thing that I have to notice about that game, even from in here in a different studio, Ramirez, I could hear his voice coming through these headphones, and the communication, the fire that was lit them, they just simply...
Well, they were more hungry. They did seem a lot more hungry. And I don't know, Epsilon, like I said, they weren't challenged. Maybe they just weren't ready to engage in that full gear. I mean, the illness excuse is one that I don't really want to go too much into, because it is an excuse. And to be fair, if you win on the day, it's still winning. So I don't think Epsilon can really use that as an excuse. I'm sure some of the community will bring it up that maybe there was enough of a difference. But all right, let's go on to the next map then. Strong Star, what do you have for me?
So going into, let's rig Strongholds. Going into game number 6. These guys, they've said so many times that Strongholds was their best game type.
Yeah.
And to really see them lose on this game type is kind of a testament to how much Infused has been getting better.
They looked amazing. It did seem to me like Epsilon just couldn't match them.
Yeah, and it was just, it wasn't back and forth. Infused had control the entire time. And when we hopped on into the team audio listening, I mean, we heard them just screaming call-outs, just over here, stay alive. Just, he's right here to get him. And they just had incredible communication. And we swapped over to Epsilon at some points, and they seemed a little timid, a little too quiet, and they're not involved and not hyped up. So I think that's a big factor to success. You guys need to be calling out, need to be getting call-outs right away, instantly, and helping out right away, and that's what we saw from Infused.
One of the things I did notice, and this was more down to the actual trades than anything else, for me, it did seem that maybe the pressure got to Epsilon, knowing they were one map away from kind of dropping out, and they seemed to be playing very defensively. And I actually saw that a few times in Basement, where instead of kind of both of them challenging or pushing out to try and challenge the people coming at them, they were playing really passively and allowing nade range to just completely take them down. And when they actually challenged, it was far too late.
I think it kind of goes on to what we're about to say then, in terms of every time we went on board with an Infused player, they were challenging. It was like, you know what, fair enough. If we're only half shields, usually you get that team step back and go for the setup and stuff, and this is how we did in the previous one. But I think they knew it was kind of in the bag. I really felt like the Bucks had their spirit completely broken. You know, at that point, they know they were getting done every single time. They were getting outshot. They were getting put down. I think we looked at the cameras a few times. There were a few angry faces on the Epsilon side, and you just see Choi going, woo, and just literally just jumping straight out, smiles on his face. And I think at that point, you knew it was game over and pretty much in the bag.
Yeah, when you've got that kind of delusional confidence and you're like, you know what, I can challenge this.
Yeah.
Those who think they can and those who think they can't are both usually right. And that was a case of it there. All right, well, I think that's kind of nicely summed this one up. Of course, we do have a little bit of a surprise. The fact that the number 1 and 2 seeds coming into this have, in fact, been eliminated. It's Excel versus Infused in the grand final. 3rd and 4th seed. We're going to see that right after the break. Don't go anywhere. It's grand final time.
The new Tracer armor in Halo 5 Guardians features everything you need to survive combat, including a jet-powered expressor machine, a visor with no apparent visibility, and a cooler to keep your bubbly ready for celebration.
Hey guys, Sean here with another Halo 5 Forge map feature. We are looking at an AT-AT Walker created by Bear Skapov, and I really hope I'm saying your name correctly. So the map is technically titled the Battle of Hoth, however it is an aesthetic map, so you can't actually play on it. This is the type of map that you really just admire the forging with, and it is incredible. In addition to the main AT-AT Walker, there is also a crashed one in the distance, which looks great as well. I've been impatiently waiting for something like this to be created on Glacier. The moment I saw the canvas, I immediately thought of this. And this is by far the best AT-AT Walker I have ever seen in a Halo game, which seems funny to say, however, AT-AT Walkers are actually pretty common in Forge. Obviously, the new Forge has a lot to do with why this is the best one I've seen, but just look at it, it is so impressive. I recommend actually downloading this map and going into custom games. Now, I said it wasn't a functioning map, but you can still run around on it. I recommend doing that because it will really give you a sense of scale. The sheer amount of detail that went into this build is mind-blowing. I mean, the legs look great, the body looks great, the head looks great, all of the markings on the side of it, the neck, the little wires, all the small intricacies. The sheer amount of detail on this thing is just so impressive. Seeing this AT-AT Walker really makes me want to play a functioning Hoth-themed map, not necessarily a Battlefront recreation, but a functioning Hoth-themed map with maybe even just regular Slayer. I think that would be really great to see. I'd like to apologize for the length of this showcase. It's kind of just due to the nature of this build. There really is only so much I can say about a map like this besides how great it looks. But I like showcasing aesthetic maps. I like to showcase all genres of Forge. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so you can get your hands on all of the latest and greatest Halo 5 Forge maps. My name is Sean, I thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time.
Xbox One exclusive.